A high fly to center field. Tagging is Carroll. This to the wall and lands on the warning track. Carroll scores. Dozier being waved around. And the Twins win it on a double by Eduardo Escobar.
After delivering their first one of the season against Detroit in walk-off fashion, the Twins return to Target Field this afternoon in hopes of repeating that feat in the third and final game of the season of this opening series. The Twins starting pitching has been a positive in their first two games. Today, Ron Gardenhire returned to another fresh face of the mound. Mike Pelfrey makes his first start for the Twins. Roy Smalley, while Twins fans have been discussing Joe Mauer hitting in the second slot, all the attention turned to the bottom of the lineup yesterday, the number 9 slot, which produced all the fireworks.
You know, this lineup is going to have to hit up and down the order for them to be successful. But it was the 9th guys last night that really came through, with Pedro Flormon getting a base hit, Wilker Ramirez getting a big 2-out double to drive in the first run. And after Brian Dozier had a really, really big hit and from the 8th spot, we got the game winner from young Eduardo Escobar.
Twins built from the bottom up yesterday. This afternoon, they're hoping for another quality start with one more new arm in their rotation. Twins and Tigers, game 3, straight ahead.
Presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
Today it's Mike Pelfrey's turn, the third Twin pitcher in a row making his Twins debut as the Twins hope to wrap up the series with Detroit with a series win. And good afternoon to you from Target Field. Dick and Bert with you for the series finale. And Mike Pelfrey will make his Twins debut today. And blessedly, the Twins have gotten a couple of really good starts that have set the bar a little high for Pelfrey.
Yeah, they hope that Pelfrey here this afternoon can do exactly what Vance Worley and Kevin Correa did the last couple games. Quality starts, kept the club in the game. Twins lost the first one 4-2. They ended up winning 3-2 yesterday. And Kevin Correa, outstanding. 7 very good innings for Mike Pelfrey here this afternoon. He's making his first start as a Twin, his 150th Major League start. Now he's coming off the Tommy John surgery he had on May 1st of last year. So quite a recovery for Mike Pelfrey, and I know he's excited to get this first start in the American League under his belt.
One of the most dramatic Twins wins at Target Field history yesterday. Each team with a win. We've had low-scoring games. Pitching has dominated. We'll see what happens in Game 3. They've kind of succeeded the Twins in the division. That helps feed a rivalry as well.
Yeah, what you want to do is, you want to beat the defending champs. Tigers went to the World Series last year. They lost to the Giants in 4 ball games. They want to get back there and see if they can win a series. Twins want to beat the Tigers. You can see last year, a frustrating year, 96 losses. When the Twins scored 4 more runs, remember yesterday's 3-2 win, Twins scored 4 more runs last year. They were 59-23. Less than 4 runs, they were 7-73. That's the worst in Major League Baseball. So good win for the Twins, winning 3-2 yesterday.
You saw Jim Leyland's career mark. Here is his Menards batting order for the series finale. Austin Jackson leading off. Torrey Hunter batting second. Cabrera, as he was in the first 2 games of the series, hitting third. Then Fielder, Martinez, Don Kelly in left field. That's a switch for the Tigers. Johnny Peralta, Alex Avila, and Omar Infante.
Well, a lot of you folks at home have not probably seen Mike Pelfrey pitch before. Those are his numbers last year, 3 starts for the Mets. And then at the end of April, was informed he needed a Tommy John surgery. He had it performed on May 1st. Quite a recovery, you think. 11 months. Here he is back on that major league mound. Mike Pelfrey, as I mentioned, making his 150th major league start. His second career start against the Tigers. He faced the Tigers a couple years ago when he was a member of the Mets.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins, and one change for them, too, in this series finale. That comes at second base. Willingham, Hicks, and Parmalee in the outfield. Blue, Florimone, Carroll at second in place of Dozier. Morneau at first, Mauer behind the plate. So we'll get our first look at the third Twin starting pitcher new to the team. And of the 3, I mean, you have to feel for Mike Pelfrey. And if he's maybe placing a little more significance on this first outing, this first inning, even the first pitch, it's Pelfrey, who's trying to come back from Tommy John surgery in near record time.
Yeah, unbelievable rehab that he put himself on. He said, there's no reason why I can't do it. And here he is standing on that major league mound at 6'7", about 250. He's a monster of a man.
Austin Jackson leads off, and he takes strike 1.
That fastball at 91. Now that's the thing I think that we're going to see throughout the summer. If the elbow holds up and everything's fine, that velocity increase a little bit. Remember, he hasn't pitched in a big league game since last April.
Take a look at the umpiring crew. Ed Hickox has the plate. Corey Blazer, Jim Joyce, Jim Wolf. Very pleasant for April 4th. 46 degrees, a little bit of a breeze. Hacked down the line over the bag. Pelfrey's got to get to the bag, but Morneau fumbles the ground ball as it crossed the line. Should be an error on Morneau, with Jackson again leading off the ball game by getting on base.
Well, that ball had a lot of spin on it right there, and it came up on Justin in the last second. This ball hugging the line. You don't know if it's going to stay fair or foul. It is fair, and the ball came up on Justin by the time he got it to Pelfrey, who was covering the bag. It should be an error.
No, it's not. They give that a hit.
Wow.
There's a scoring change today on Joe Mauer's first at bat. He was has now been given credit for a hit. An error was given to Cabrera. This I had written down as an error, and it's ruled a hit. Here's Torrey Hunter. Jackson right away takes off, and the throw hits Jackson and goes into short left field, and Jackson appears to be okay. Mauer will be charged with an error, and Jackson gets credit for a stolen base. Jackson holding his left shoulder as if that was the point of impact.
Well, not wasting any time. You mentioned in the first 2 ball games, one thing that Jim Leland would like is more speed out of Jackson. 12 stolen bases last year in 21 attempts. He takes off on that first pitch, and it got Jackson caromed into left field. See, right off that left shoulder as he slid into second base.
Pitch a strike to Hunter with Jackson and his speed already at third base. And again, that ball running in on the trademark of Hunter's bat for strike 2. So Pelfrey on the ropes a bit here. Remember Monday, Vance Worley had kind of a rugged first inning, had things not go his way.
Pelfrey has a little bit of movement, that 2-seamer that will run in on righties, and then he throws that 4-seamer, more of a straight fastball down and away to right-handed hitters. Mixes in a slider and a changeup. High fastball there at 90.
Twins got Hunter to chase a high fastball yesterday. He lays off that one. It's 1-2.
Pelfrey, 29 years old, out of Wichita State University. #1 pick by the Mets back in 2005.
Inside, got a foul ball. Now, you mentioned
good fastball.
Yeah. You mentioned Wichita State, so no question as to what Pelfrey's favorite team is in the Final Four in basketball.
Michigan.
Hunter with 4 hits already in this series, and all 4 have gone to right field.
Twins infield playing back. They'll concede a run here in their hopes of getting it out. And a bouncer to short. Florimone scoops it up. Low throw. Morneau digs it out. Hunter gets a run batted in with Jackson scooting in from third.
Torrey's first RBI of the year makes it a 1-0 Tiger lead. And that's what you want to do as a hitter with the infield back. Just get it past the pitcher. It's an easy RBI, and that's exactly what Torrey was able to do.
So 1 in, 1 out, and Cabrera comes up with the bases empty. A couple of RBI singles in the game yesterday. An RBI ground out on Monday. So already 3 runs batted in for the Triple Crown winner of a year ago. Driven to right field, hanging in the air for Parmalee. 2 down. Mike Pelfrey is documented from the Midwest, and happy to be joining a team from the Midwest.
I'm excited. I think obviously it's a pretty big change, coming from New York, but it's a great change, and I think this atmosphere fits me a lot more, being from Kansas and more Midwest guy. So this is like I said, this is great. This is more my style, and I'm looking forward to it.
Off-speed pitch, bends over for a strike. Fielder at the plate, 1 strike and 2 away. You think about it, it is remarkable. A year ago, Pelfrey had not made his first start yet. He was still 5 days away from his initial start of the year. And he was off to a good start with the Mets, and then had the Tommy John surgery in May. Off the outside corner, 2-1.
Yeah, Twins signing him to a 1-year contract over the winter as a free agent. Now they hope that he gets back to where he was in 2010 with the Mets, when he went 15-9 and threw just over 200 innings that season.
Fouled away. 2-2. The Twins again find themselves behind on the scoreboard early. When you have a game-winning hit like last night, can you say the team was in the lead? I mean, they won the game. The Twins haven't played with a lead yet. The only lead they've had was at the end of the game yesterday. Chopper to short. Easy play for Florimone.
Well, the ultimate goal is to win.
Yeah, that's right.
They won at the end.
Mauer will both hope to hit here in the bottom of the first. The Menards batting order for the Twins has Aaron Hicks on top, then Mauer and Willingham, then Morneau, Doman, Bloop, Parmalee, Jamie Carroll, who pinch ran in the ball game yesterday, getting his first start, and then Pedro Florimone.
And on the mound for the Tigers, it'll be Rick Porcello. Porcello went to spring training not knowing if he's going to make that club or not. He and Smiley kind of competed for that number 5 spot. Here he is, number 3 starter in so far this season. His numbers last year, high ERA. He will give up more hits to innings pitched. He has enjoyed pitching here at Target Field. In 5 previous starts here at Target Field, 3-1 with a very good earned run average.
Northland Ford defense for the Tigers. Don Kelly getting left field today. Then Austin Jackson, Torrey Hunter, Cabrera, Peralta, Infante, Fielder, and Avila around the mound. Game starting obviously a couple hours earlier. Visibility should be better for the players. We won't have that shadow issue that we've documented here in the first 2 games. They're really tough on the outfielders. And we were talking before the game. The ball game yesterday started with a fly ball to center field that should have been caught and wasn't, and it ended on a fly ball that probably should have been caught and wasn't. So we'll see if there are any visibility issues in the outfield here today.
They say one thing Rick Porcello really worked on in spring training. Had a very good spring training. 6 starts, 4-1 as a starter for the Tigers in spring training. Eliminated his slider. He now is a 2-seam sinking fastball, a 4-seam fastball, curveball, and a changeup.
There's a fastball on the outside corner. Hicks hoping to get his first major league hit out of the way.
When Porcello is on, he is a ground ball pitcher. He will give up more hits than innings pitched, but he does get a lot of ground ball outs.
Popped up short left field. It's going to be a long run for Kelly. Not that long, I guess. He's out, 1 away. So Hicks pops up to short left field, and that'll bring up Joe Mauer.
Porcello just 24 years old, already in his 5th season with the Tigers. He has won 48 ball games at the major league level in 120 starts.
Mauer will hit with the bases empty and 1 out. Joe, as we mentioned, now 3 for 8, not 2 for 8. They have overruled. Actually, Joe Torre did it. They've reviewed his first at bat. He had a little chopper between the mound and third base. Cabrera charged, didn't field it cleanly, and it was originally charged in error. Mauer now has been given credit for an infield hit. So a 3-hit game on opening day.
You said you were in the Gardy's office when Dustin Morse said that, and Gardy said, well, what did he say? He said Cabrera still got a chance to win the Gold Glove.
He's still got a chance to win the Gold Glove now because he had an error taken away from him.
Yeah.
So it's one of those win-win situations, right? The hitter gets a hit, the fielder loses an error, the pitcher didn't give up an earned run.
You know, remember on Monday we both thought it was a base hit, but the official score charged it an error, and I'm glad it was changed.
2-1 to Mauer. Chop to the right side. And Mauer retired out number 2. Mauer, who later got a couple of other hits in his first at bat this play.
Yeah, this is off of Verlander right here, and you know Cabrera came in. It wasn't hit real hard, but it would have been a real nice play by Cabrera if he was able to do it. But I'm glad that they changed that. Infield base hit for Mauer.
Here's Josh Willingham. You saw in that graphic Willingham played in 145 games, and that's a lot of games. But then remember, he didn't play in the last week at all because he had a bit of an injury he didn't want to provoke going into the off season. 1-0 to Willingham. And now 2-0. Josh made quite a first impression in his first year and in the opening weeks of the season. He immediately provided some pop for the Twins.
5 for 8 lifetime against Rick Porcello.
Swinging a foul, 2-1. The closest that we've had to a home run in this series so far was the game-ending double
by Eduardo Escobar. A ball that traveled close to 400 feet. There hasn't been anything that's caromed off a fence. I'm not sure they've had to rake the warning track until Escobar's double ended the game last night. Up high, 3-1. Morneau on deck.
Porcello pretty stingy as far as allowing the home run. Only 16 home runs allowed last year and 180 innings pitched.
Swing and a miss. That sinker diving under the swing of Josh Willingham.
Good straight over the top fastball.
Popped up. A foul ball chased by fielder. And out of play. In yesterday's game, it ended in dramatic style.
Yeah, Escobar came in to pinch hit against Phil Koch, got a fastball, and we thought it was going to be a sacrifice fly. We're a little surprised it traveled as far as it did, but the ball misplayed out there in center field. The ball that I thought that Austin Jackson should have caught, at least for a sacrifice fly to tie the game. Instead, it was a 2-run double to win the game for the Twins.
Full count again to Willingham. And another foul. Well, I talked to Escobar this morning. He said, no, he knew he hit it pretty good. And you can see as he left home plate, he was pretty confident he'd given it a ride. It fooled me completely. I didn't think that ball was anything more than a medium deep fly ball. It did not fool Brian Dozier, who took off from first base as if he knew the ball was going to land safely.
Yeah, and he was already around second base when that ball dropped in, so he did score the winning run from first base.
Willingham coaxes a walk. He's aboard now for Morneau. Well, Morneau with a chance to make Porcello pay for the 2-out walk. Yesterday, the Twins got back into the game and won it thanks to some leadoff walks. A couple of times late in the game, the Tigers issued leadoff walks. Inside, Vila had a tough time catching. I don't know if that means the ball was moving later. They got crossed up a little bit.
Well, I think Avila we wanted to start outside, and the ball ended up down and in. He was already moving out to the outer half of the plate. As he's doing here.
Fouled away. Reportedly, the Tigers were in a quandary as to what to do with Porcello. By camp's end, he had won the 5th starter's job, but within the month of March, there was some talk of maybe moving him to the end of the game and having him try to close games for Jim Leyland and the Tigers.
Yeah, left-hander Drew Smiley was the other candidate to start for the Tigers. He's now in the bullpen. We saw him on Monday.
Porcello's name was brought up in trade rumors. Not that there was any substance to them, but the perception is the Tigers have a wealth of starting pitching and might need some help in the bullpen, and talk more about it later, but they may have gotten some help for their bullpen today. 2-1. Down and away, 3-1 with Doman on deck.
Well, Justin, against Porcello, just 4 hits in 23 at-bats. He does have a home run against Porcello.
We got a call here. First call of the year.
I like it.
3-1 to Morneau. Bouncer right side. Nice catch by Infante, but he has no play. He kept Willingham perhaps from going to third base, but Morneau hit the top half of the ball, as teams are wont to do against Porcello, and gets a base hit.
Well, even though you made the call, he got an infield base hit, so that's, you get another one. That's a free one. And nice play by Infante, ranging far to his left, but you can see he tumbles right here when he does get the ball in his glove, has no play. And Willingham stops at second.
Now Domet. 1 for 9 on the season. Inside, ball 1.
Ryan Domet, 32 years old, his second season with the Twins, a switch hitter, a .272 career hitter. Those are his numbers from last year. As a left-handed hitter, a .277 average. 69 of his 85 home runs have come from the left side of the plate.
First 2 games of this series, the wind was whistling in from right field. Now it's blowing a little more gently out toward right field. Down in the dirt, Avila digs it out, 2-0. And Avila will go out to the mound. There you see the flags blowing out toward right field. And left, as we said, a gentler breeze than we've had the first couple games. We'll just go with prevailing westerlies. I took a weather class once in school, and they talked about the prevailing westerlies.
A lot of pitches thrown by Porcello here in the first, 21 so far, only 10 strikes.
See what Domet gets on a 2-0 count. Chopper to short. And Peralta makes the flip over to fielder, and the Twins leave 2 aboard in the first.
Success at casino there, so maybe that played into it.
My kind of guy right there.
Victor Martinez, the batter, ball 1. And for those of you who remember the movie For Love of the Game, Kevin Costner plays a character who suffered a serious arm injury and came back successfully. And that's exactly what Pelfrey is trying to do now. In terms of conventional injuries, no circular saw was involved like it was with the movie, but Pelfrey coming back from the dreaded Tommy John surgery.
Boy, they have come a long way with that Tommy John surgery, too, and it's a rehab that they've really improved on how quick you start throwing that baseball again.
Popped up foul and out of play.
And, you know, a lot of it is the determination of that individual, too, coming back from a surgery. how hard do you want to work to come back? And this man has dedicated himself to coming back as quick as possible. And less than a year later, here he is on that mound.
2-1 to Victor Martinez. It's a disconnected thought, so I'm not trying to say something without saying it. 2-1 to Martinez. And a pop-up foul and out of play. But a year ago, in fact, this month, a year ago, Scott Baker, who was in with the Twins, had Tommy John surgery, and he still has not come back. He's on the 60-day disabled list for the Chicago Cubs. And I'm not in any way trying to compare Scott Baker's work ethic with Pelfrey's, but Pelfrey, they say, it's just, he's maniacal about it. He won't take a day off. He's pushed himself to the absolute limits to try to get back for this day.
Well, Scott Baker tried to do it in spring training. He tried the same thing, but then he had some reoccurrence with the elbow issue, so that's why he's back on the DL.
Martinez with his first hit since his comeback from knee surgery.
He wants the ball. See him motion toward the dugout. Give me the ball.
Sanford Health injury report. Reds with some tough news regarding Ryan Ludwig. Ripped up his right shoulder sliding. And so the Reds, who are a preseason pick to represent the National League in the World Series, will have to be without one of their better players for a while.
Yeah, it's a big bat coming out of that lineup.
Down low to Don Kelly. Kelly getting a chance to start. Roughly the same reason Jamie Carroll's getting a chance to start for the Twins. Series started on Monday. There was an off day on Tuesday. Managers like to get their reserve players out on the field in a starting assignment as soon as they can. No swing. 2-0.
Kelly has some major league experience. Came up with the Pirates in 2007 and up and down the last 4 or 5 years with the Tigers. Career .232 hitter. 33 years old.
Pelfrey checking Martinez, who is as much a threat to steal second base as I am, I think.
How did you get the first, though?
You can see Martinez smiling over there like, wow, thanks.
Thank you.
He's got about a step and a half lead from first. Here's a pop-up foul and out of play, 2-1. So, yeah, it was an interesting matchup. He's pointing to Morneau. Look, I'm only leading off right over there. Why is he throwing over here? Nice matchup between Martinez and Pelfrey, two guys who are really back in the game that they missed so much last year. Popped up near the Tiger dugout and off the roof. 2-2. When you join the Twins season ticket family this year, you'll be hitting the sweet spot. Purchase any of the Twins season ticket packages and receive 10% off all food, beverage, and merchandise bought at Target Field. Call 833-TWINS. Visit twinsbaseball.com. Check out the options. Learn about the benefits that come along with Twins season tickets.
The Tigers have another outfielder, Quentin Berry, who had a lot of injuries in spring training. That kind of opened the door for Don Kelly to make the club.
There's a chopper towards short. Floromon's going to have to hurry. And Morneau again on the backhand side this time. Digs out a second low throw from Pedro Floromon.
Ball not hit hard enough. That allows Martinez to go to second base, and Floromon has to come charging in from deep short. Right off the end of the bat, the sinker down and away. Justin picking it for the first out.
With the exception of Cabrera's fly ball to right, everything has been hit into the ground against Pelfrey, and that's the type of pitcher that he is. Peralta, the batter. A couple of hits and 7 at bats. And a walk. Fouled away.
Pelfrey's pitched almost 900 innings at the major league level. He has just over 500 strikeouts. So he's a guy that, you know, relies on good defense. His walk to innings pitched ratio very good. He'll walk about 3 per 9. both these pitchers here today almost the same way. Pretty good control. They have to make their pitches down in the zone to get outs.
Pelfrey has, at least so far, also served as a mentor to some of the less experienced pitchers, the guys who haven't pitched around 1,000 innings. Some of them have pitched less than 100 innings. Busted bat roller to third.
Love that sound.
There's the out at first, and alertly going to third is Victor Martinez. Good base running play by Martinez. He just kind of held his ground about 30 feet off the second base bag, and once Plouffe triggered the throw, Martinez moved up a base. 2 down. And now Alex Avila.
Yeah, good pitch by Pelfrey to Peralta. Jams him right there, and the only play is the first base, as you mentioned. Martinez watching that, watching Plouffe come all the way in, leaves third base open. He just walks over to third.
So Pelfrey hoping for another ground ball out here, hoping to strand Martinez at third. Runner at third, a slow runner at third. Pelfrey will go from the full windup, looking over at third occasionally. I saw him look over at Martinez at least 3 times during his delivery, just to make sure Martinez knew he was keeping an eye on him. Check swing, but a called strike. 1-1.
Very slow delivery by Pelfrey. Does a good job of getting to that balance point and then exploding toward home plate. Again, big framed man, 6'7", about 250. Watch how he steps back with that left foot. Gets himself set.
I was counting him. Last time he looked at Martinez 4 times, in part because of the slow delivery. But he'll check over there, and then in the midst of his delivery, he'll give one more look.
Yep. Force of habit. Watch this as he goes up. There, another one. One more time. Look at him.
1-2 to Alex Avila. Not that there was much of a chance.
That's got to
anyway.
be just force of habit with a runner on.
I was going to say, not that there was much of a chance Martinez was going to steal home anyway.
Yeah.
But he's spending more time looking at Martinez than he is being locked in on his target.
You know what? If you asked him to, he probably doesn't even know that he's looking at the third base runner as often as he is.
Once.
Make sure he's still
Twice.
there. Don't move.
And then one more. There you go.
There he is.
Just missing the outside corner, and it's 2-2. Now, I don't recall you even looking once over there. If you were going to pitch from the full windup, you were locked in on the target, right?
Dick, 22 years the runners never were at third base. They're always scored.
They never stopped there.
No, they just kept going. Ooh, just missing down.
Darting down low, and it's a full count with Omar Infante on deck.
A pretty good take right here by Avila. Just a bit low. 34 pitches for Pelfrey, 22 strikes.
Full count with 2 away. Got him. A strikeout for Pelfrey, and he strands Martinez at third base, who never did steal a base in the inning.
This game to go out and win baseball games, and we had our chances the other day. We said that we had a bunch of at-bats where we could have come through, and we did again today. So did they. So you know what, you just got to keep playing, and that's what these guys. That's a big boost out there. A win, get going, something underneath your belt, and against a great team over there. So that's fun baseball. That was fun. It was a very exciting play there at the end.
And Eduardo Escobar, the hitting hero, he told me this morning it was his second walk-off hit. He got one in Milwaukee for the White Sox last year, a single. And given where the Twins started last year when they lost their first 4 games and never really got close to the 500 mark after that, they lost 7 of their first 9 games. It's nice to enter the 3rd game of the year 1-1. Yeah. There's Trevor Plouffe. Foul back. I was listening to Cal Ripken and Billy Ripken do a radio show on satellite radio. I was listening to him yesterday. Billy Ripken said he hopes for every team to go 1-1 after their first 2 games, because he says as soon as somebody loses their first 4 or 5, then somebody will call him asking about the 1988 season. Orioles, they lost the entire month of April, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
So he says he wants every team to get a win in their first or second game. 1-1 to Plouffe. He'll be followed by Parmalee and Carroll. Tapper, it's going to be a tough play for Porcello. He barehands it and fires it on target to fielder, 1 away. And the Twins have hit everything on the ground so far except for Hicks' fly ball. You can be a part of our broadcast. Vote for who you think is the Arby's Value Player of the Game. Text value, a space, then the player's last name to 234-234. And you can let us know who you think had the most value in today's game. And we'll tell you the winner in our postgame show.
Now, Porcello did the right thing, came charging off the mound, barehanded it because the ball was almost at a stop, and then get the out at first. Trying to keep that glove out of the picture.
Parmalee with a swing and a miss. Oh for 6 with 3 strikeouts so far on this season for Parmalee. Outside, 1-1. Also at stake for the Twins here today, a series win at home. Now, you wouldn't think that was that significant a deal, and it shouldn't be. But it sure was last year. The entire season last year at Target Field, the Twins won 5 series. That's it.
That's not a lot. Again, they've really struggled here at home, but they struggled also on the road. Just a miserable year that, you put behind you. That's all you can do and move forward.
And now 2-2 with Porcello.
It'd be nice to win 2 of 3 against the Tigers, because the Tigers have pretty much controlled the Twins here at Target Field, right, winning 16 of 21 games, the last 21 games here.
All third strike, and Parmalee not only strikes out again, but strikes out looking again.
Porcello picks up his first strikeout.
Get interactive with us during the broadcast with our AT&T Twitter poll. Today's question: how many wins will it take to win the American League Central? Tweet your answer using the following hashtags: hashtag 90 or less, or hashtag 91 plus. We'll give you the results later during the game. What are your thoughts?
Well, last year the Tigers had 88 wins. They won a division by 3 games over the Chicago White Sox. So right between 85 and 92, probably in that range, I would say. This Central Division has kind of tightened up a little bit. Kansas City, Cleveland, Chicago, Tigers, of course. I think the Twins hopefully will be in the running as the season winds down.
I think most people, and probably some people who follow the Tigers, maybe some of the people in uniform, felt that the Tigers didn't really assert themselves last year and play as well as they could have, but still won the division with 88 wins. Mm-hmm. And it stands to reason that the more competitive a division is, the fewer wins it would take to win the division, if that makes any sense, because you're playing against better teams more often. 2-1 to Carroll. Lifted to right at Torrey Hunter. And Porcello has a 1-2-3 second inning. Is presented by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. Tigers got an unearned run in the first inning against Mike Pelfrey and the Twins. Omar Infante will lead off the third, and then Jackson and Hunter. Down and away, ball one. I pick your brain a little bit more, and I know that's a dangerous thing to do. But Pelfrey made such a good impression with the Twins, working with some of the younger pitchers on the staff. It's a strike on the outside corner. And you, at various times in your career, and I know when you came back to the Twins in the mid-'80s, that was something you took very seriously, being a mentor for, among others, Frank Viola. But the younger Twins pitchers talk glowingly of Pelfrey and how he wants to watch their bullpens and stay engaged in their development as a starting pitcher.
It's such an important as a veteran, and Pelfrey, one of those guys that, you know, has had success at the major league level, and he's a guy with this personality. He likes to communicate with everybody around him. There's a ground ball sharply hit the floor, Moan, and all the way in the air over to first base. Justin Morneau for the first out. But let's go down to Jamie. A little bit more about Mike Pelfrey.
Yeah, guys, it's been well documented throughout our broadcast. Really remarkable to see Mike Pelfrey out here just 11 months removed from Tommy John surgery. I had a chance to ask Ron Gardenhire about it today. He said this is a big moment for him. There's a lot of fear involved when something like this happens to your arm, so you have to be able to push through that fear. And to see the way that he has been able to work through this all is pretty incredible, guys. Already one strikeout here today, hoping for more here in the third.
Yeah, you know, I had my elbow operated on in about around the same time, May of 1982, and I came back in '83. And my biggest thing that year is I hurt my shoulder, because you end up already mentally you're favoring your elbow and you put more pressure on your shoulder. So, yeah, those are the little things that Pelfrey will deal with. You know, very solid delivery. Again, 6'7", a guy that stays very tall in his delivery. And then once he gets to that balance point, does a good job of exploding. And when I say exploding, utilizing that rubber and the foundation, your legs right there, the strength. That's your strength right there. As we slow down his delivery. I saw him on that first pitch to Infante. It was a slider down and away, and he kind of hit his left shoulder. Like, keep that shoulder in. So a good inning right here for Mike Pelfrey.
Pedro Floromon's third short throw of the ball game. And now Mauer's throw skips past Florimon but goes into left field. So Florimon having some throwing issues here. Morneau saved him with 2 low throws in the first couple innings, but that was as routine a play as you can get. And Florimon is charged with his second error of the season. And that'll get Cabrera up, of all people, with a man in scoring position.
Joe Mauer backing up the play, but Torrey Hunter just kept running. And a low throw to second base. Take a look right here. Just a routine ground ball. Has plenty of time to set and throw. And it's another low throw, and Torrey just hustles and gets in the scoring position.
Cabrera hit a fly ball to right his first time. Pelfrey asked to get another extra out here.
To a dangerous hitter.
There's a base hit to left, and Hunter will go to third, and he's going to turn third and head home. And it's a 2-0 Tiger lead. A horrible run to give up with 2 outs. You'd already said it. It was a great inning for Mike Pelfrey, but Florimon's throw leads to at least 1 Tiger run.
And Miguel Cabrera picking up his 4th RBI in this series. Seems like every time they need, a run to score, it's been Cabrera jumping on that first high fastball, lining it into left field. And Torrey Hunter scores the second unearned run for the Tigers against Pelfrey.
And it doesn't get any easier with Fielder hitting next and Cabrera at first. Strike on the outside corner.
Yep, he can hit. Miguel Cabrera.
Strike 2, and Pelfrey sharpening his control here in the third inning to try to keep this inning from ballooning out of control.
Now, I know he wanted that fastball in on Cabrera a little bit more than it ended up, and that's why Cabrera allowed to. He opened up quickly and hit that line drive RBI single to the left.
Fouled away. Pelfrey approaching the 50 pitch limit. I asked Ron Gardenhire today about any limits on Pelfrey, more so than anybody else because of his medical history. And he said no, he'll talk with Pelfrey, of course, occasionally over the course of the game to see how he's feeling. But he says they've been given clearance to let him go, and they'll probably by season's end try to limit him to 180, 190 innings, something like that. On the ground, and now Plouffe will have a chance. And that's the end of the inning. It came 2 batters too late and led to another Tiger run. By Roy Smalley. And Roy, we've seen here in this opening series, Pedro Florimon having some issues throwing today. It was fielding the other day, kind of a rough start for the Twins shortstop.
Yeah, you really wanted him to get off to a good start just from a confidence standpoint. I really believe this young man can pick it. I think he's going to be a terrific defensive player. But, you know, as all young players, they have to get some level of consistency. And he clanged one in that cold opening day and then didn't quite get his feet under him on that throw. So it's just consistency. He's got to stay with it.
If ever you could see an error building, though, it seemed in this case Florimon's he had a low throw in the first inning, a low throw in the second. Does he need to adjust the windage, or what is it?
You know, throwing over there from shortstop has a lot of different elements to it. And a lot of times it's just concentration. I know when I threw best, I would pick out a small spot on the first baseman, you know, at the T on the hat or on the chest or something, and just let it go, throw it hard. And sometimes you start aiming the ball. Whenever you start aiming, it'll be lower usually. And the other thing is just footwork. It looked to me like he just didn't have his feet under him. He threw that ball before he was really ready to throw it on a routine play. And, you know, that's just something that young guys have to work on consistency.
You know, I think Twin fans do not want to hear the word patience, but really with some of these youngsters like Florimon and Hicks, you have to be patient.
Yeah, I think that's true. You know, I know that I would think that we're going to be patient with them offensively. I mean, those guys are good defensive players, and they're out there to play defense. And I think if I were Gardy, I'd have a little less patience about defensive lapses than I would offense. We want these kids to play. You know, I think he'd say we want these kids to go out there and play the heck out of that up the middle defense and get, you know, move into the offensive role as best they can.
Let me ask you, Roy, when you first came up to the big leagues, you were with the Texas Rangers. Who mentored you and what did you do? I know Toby Harrah was a shortstop. He got hurt. You got called up and played short. Who was your second baseman, and how long did it take you to feel comfortable at the major league level?
You know, I felt comfortable defensively at shortstop pretty quickly. It was a little bit of a funny situation there because Toby was the shortstop, and then he got hurt. I came up and played short. They moved Toby to...
saw Purcell right there slip on the mound and did the old Nelson Bryles almost, where he laid down. And take a look right here at Pelfrey slipping, I think, when his foot hit right there. Thank goodness he's all right.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's a turned ankle in the making right there, isn't it? But anyway, to your point, Bert, I mean, you work with a lot of guys out there, and I think if you're a big league player, you need to be able to just go play your position with anybody that's out there. We set 2 double play records when I played here in the old Met, when I had Bobby Randall and Rob Wilfarm both at second base, and we led the league in double plays 2 or 3 years in a row. So I think you work hard at it with whoever's out there. You take a lot of ground balls and you just work at it.
2-2 to Aaron Hicks, still looking for his first major league hit.
You know, you look at this lineup that Ron Gardenhire's put together. Here's Hicks still looking for his first major league hit. You know it's coming, hopefully in this at bat. And then you have Joe Mauer hitting second now. Your thoughts on that? Yeah,
I like Joe in the second hole. You know, the classic theory in baseball is you put your best average hitter in the third spot, and that's where Joe's always been. But in this particular lineup, he's got such great on-base percentage numbers. He's got a lot of thunder hitting behind him.
Breaking ball gets Hicks. He's now 0 for 9 with 6 strikeouts.
Well, we have a pretty good lineup in 1987.
We did have
the 87 lineup.
We did have a good lineup, and you'll notice here's the similarity. Look at the 3, 4, 5 guys. You have great Puckett Herbeck, great right-handed hitter for average, then a home run guy, and then a really, really solid hitter for average and power in Gary Gaetti. And that's kind of what they're doing over here. As long as they keep Mauer, Willingham, Morneau consecutively, it gives each guy a lot of protection, gives guys a chance to get on base. And then, you know, the interesting thing about Joe hitting second, in my view, is that if Joe hits second, then the 5th and 6th guys after Willingham and Morneau have to be good. if Joe's hitting third, then the second hitter's got to be good, right? I mean, so that's the trade-off. And right now, I think Gardy is thinking that he's got a better chance if Joe's hitting second for his fifth and sixth guys to be productive than have Joe hit third and look for that second hitter.
See, the guys in the truck didn't do what I wanted them to do, and that was put you in that number 9 hole and move Tim Laudner into the 7 hole. Come on, guys. We were supposed to make fun of Roy Smalley. Come on.
You know, there's enough of that going on around here. You don't have to manufacture too much of that.
I'm trying to make Lauds feel good, you know.
Well, you know, the other thing that we showed me hitting sixth there, and I did hit sixth a lot, being a switch hitter. You know, you had a third hitter, right-handed, left-handed, right-handed, then me as a switch hitter, and Bruno hitting seventh. And Bruno hit sixth a lot too, and I'd hit seventh. We flipped a lot because Bruno could hit the ball, as you know, could hit the ball in the ballpark. Was a good hitter.
Oh, so could you.
And I could hit the ball out of the ballpark. So that was a pretty good 3 through 7 that we threw up there.
Yes, it was. And then, you know, I think in '87, we're compliment Dan Gladden when they made that trade late in spring training. We were kind of looking for that leadoff hitter, and boy, that fiery Dan Gladden came in and did a great job. And then you got Gagne with his speed, unbelievable.
A bullet to left, picked up by Kelly, and Mauer as a 2-out single. Twins have 2 hits. They both come with 2 outs, and now Willingham will come up with a man aboard.
Let me ask you something. If we were still at the Metrodome, okay, because Joe had his best year. Good piece of hitting.
Yeah, look how long he waits. Look at this, how long he waits and lets the ball get back over the plate. And when you do that, look at his head on this ball right here. When you wait that long and your hands are inside the ball, your head can be right on it like that. That's just so pretty.
Yep, he's a beautiful swing, great hitter. Now, go back, if we were still at the Metrodome, you put Mauer in that number 2 hole, because, you know, in 2009 he won the MVP. He had 28 home runs in the Metrodome.
Yeah.
But here at Target Field, we've seen Joe. You know, he has a tough time hitting home runs here. He's more of a line drive gap type hitter.
Yeah, I think that's a real good point. I think it really hurt him getting out of the Metrodome, and he was a much more effective third hitter in there than maybe he is here. Although he could hit, for me, I'm sure for Gardy, he could hit anywhere in the lineup. Right. But I really do think it goes back to, again, his on-base percentage as the second hitter, and Gardy's feeling that he's probably got a better chance of getting production in the 5, 6, 7 guys than he does trying to find a number 2 hole hitter right now in this part of the season.
2-0 to Willingham, and a strike on the outside corner. Mauer so far has been productive, 4 hits, I think a couple of walks, and all that's happened with Aaron Hicks pretty much off the bases, and we know Hicks will get there eventually. Then you'll have the element of Hicks' speed aboard while Mauer's at the plate.
Yeah, I think Aaron Hicks is going to be a real good hitter and good player. You know, he's going to have to get his feet under, but that's right.
There's a high fly to deep left center field. Willingham has tied it up. The first home run of the year, and predictably, perhaps, it goes to Josh Willingham.
Oh, this guy is so strong. 35 home runs last year, a career high, 67 over the last couple years. If he got his pitch, it looked like he did. A fastball that looked like it stayed down and in. Almost a golf shot with his power. Ties the game.
Hey, keep it going.
So a 2-out single backed up by a 2-out home run. And Morneau goes after some high cheese, 1 strike.
You know, and I got to tell you guys, I really think that Mauer hitting second, that is another reason I like it is because you just get him up there more often and you get to the Thunder more readily than watching your first 2 guys struggle just to get to Joe. You know, getting Joe up there as much as you can, there's absolutely nothing in the world wrong with him having an extra at bat or getting up there sooner in front of the big guys.
Yeah, that home run going 387 feet. Twins hit their first home run.
1-1 to Morneau. He asked for time and got it. Well, you told me a story at breakfast today about your uncle Gene Mauka, who was kind of thrust into duty managing the 65 All-Star team for the National League.
That's right, and a bit of controversy. He was made out the lineup, and Willie Mays was his leadoff hitter. And everybody said, "What in the world? You lead Willie Mays off?" And Gene said, "Look, he's the best hitter in baseball. Why wouldn't I want him to have the chances to get the 4th and 5th at bat? He said, I got Aaron, and I got Clemente, and I got Santo, and I got Ernie. I got all kinds of 3 through 7 hitters. I said, let me get Willie Mays up there 5 times.
And Mays hit a home run for the National League in the 65 All-Star game at Metropolitan Stadium. A Josh Willingham home run has tied the game at 2 as we head to the 4th. Josh Willingham home run that's tied the game at 2 apiece. We head to the 4th inning, and Mike Pelfrey has given up 2 unearned runs. Will face Victor Martinez during the break. Roy Smalley staying with us here for the top of the 4th inning. We're talking about the 65 All-Star game played at Metropolitan Stadium. So many great names in that game. How about the I guess you'd have to say he was the closer for the National League in the 1965 All-Star game, Bob Gibson. A Hall of Fame player as a starting pitcher, but if they'd had closers back then, he would have had the temperament, I think, to be a Hall of Fame closer as well.
You know, I think most hitters, when they started the game in the 1st inning and against Bob Gibson, felt like they already had the closer in on the mound.
Yeah, he closed a lot of doors from the 1st inning on.
I'm telling you.
2 strikes to Victor Martinez. He'll be followed by Don Kelly and Johnny Peralta.
Yeah, 51st pitch right here for Pelfrey.
Up high.
34 strikes. I know throughout your career, I don't think you spent any time on a disabled list, did you?
No, I was never on a disabled list. I was very, very fortunate. I had one pretty serious injury when I broke and had a compound fracture of my little finger, sliding into Bobby Gritch at second base, diving in, and had to get that fixed. And Mock came to me and said, "I don't want to put you on the 15-day disabled list. I can't be without you that long." He said, "I'll give you 10 days." So I said, "Okay."
Okay, and Uncle.
Yes, sir. And about the
Hicks ranging back toward the gap and getting there, 1 away.
About the 9th day, then I put a bunch of foam rubber around the bat and taped my 2 fingers together and go get them, you know. Yeah. So
I think we just saw a little bit of the coverage that Hicks can take out there. That ball was hit sharply right there off the bat of Martinez. Hicks had to go a long way to catch that ball.
Don Kelly hit a bouncer to short his first time up. Hey, I've had the pleasure of working with you and knowing you for a long time. And sometimes when you refer to your uncle, You call him Uncle Gene, but more often than not, you call him Mock. Is that when you played for him? How did that work?
Well,
how did you address him? Skipper?
I called him Gene, and we were very close, and we had to get it as professional as we could, on the field in the clubhouse. I called him Gene. I call him Mock around here because I don't assume, when I'm talking to you or Bert. If I say Gene, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Rather than say, my uncle Gene Mock, I just call him Mock, so you know what I'm talking about. We watch Hicks go after that ball. It was neat. It's fun to watch him from this vantage point, isn't it?
Now to his right, Dozier has a goal, or Carroll rather, off his glove into short center field, and Kelly has a base hit with one out.
We've been talking about how important up the middle defense is going to be on this club. They've been searching for that, for a while. They've had center fielders that can go get the ball, and here's another one. And what you see is how easily he goes after it. It just doesn't look like he's straining at all. And yet he gets to the ball. He closes on the ball very, very quickly. And that seems to be, from the people I've talked to, that seems to be kind of his MO. He'll just kind of come out of nowhere, and you think the ball's in the gap, and there he is. He goes and he's able to go and get it.
I call it a cat-like instinct center fielders have. They just always seem to know where that ball's headed, how quick they are. Of course, started with Kirby Puckett and the Torrey Hunter and the Denard Span, and then Ben Revere when Span missed some time. And now Hicks.
Yeah, it's a great legacy of good twin center fielders out there. It certainly is. And I think that the two guys up the middle in the infield, Florimon and Dozier, of course today it's Jamie Carroll at second base, but those guys are going to be so important that they develop quickly as the defensive players that the Twins think they're going to be. They've been searching for, as you guys know, for 3 or 4 years now, for
maybe longer than that, since probably Guzman and Rivas were the second and short.
And the last couple of years, it's been really, really almost frightening, the lack of consistency they've had up there. And they're really hoping these two young guys can do it and get there quickly this year.
Chance, you'd think, for Pelfrey to maybe get a ground ball here, get a double play to wrap up the 4th inning. He's gotten a lot of ground balls. Some of them have bled through for hits. There have been some errors. 1-1 to Johnny Peralta.
He jammed Peralta in his last at bat that Plouffe had to come in and make a nice throw over to first.
Looks like Pelfrey's got a pretty good move to first, and something that he's paid attention to over the years.
Well, again, 6'7". Sometimes it takes a little longer to get that body going toward home, but that utilizes that slide step. You see how quick he is with that knee coming up, and that allows the catcher maybe one step where the runner might take off to be able to throw him out. I remember in the first inning, Jackson ran on Pelfrey on the first pitch. Boom.
He strikes me, talking about Pelfrey, as just a very professional guy about the way he goes about it, Bert. He's around the plate. He's come right at the strike zone. His ball's got some nice movement on it. He's, as Dick said, he's conscientious about holding guys on. It just looks like he's very professional. Like he's been there, done that. He knows what it takes to pitch in the big leagues.
Well, this is his 150th major league start. He has 4 complete games, still looking for his first career shutout, but 50 major league wins, 54 major league losses, all those coming with the Mets starting in 2007. Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, keeping an eye on Pelfrey.
62nd pitch of his afternoon. Plouffe to Carroll. Double play. Nicely turned by Carroll in the middle. Pelfrey gets his ground ball double play and faces just 3 men on the board.
Thank you, Roy.
Our thanks to Ron for stopping by the booth anytime.
Here at Target Field, we are all tied up at 2 heading into the bottom of the 4th thanks to a 2-run bomb from Josh Willingham. That's the subject of today's Tweet Talk. We are sparking a conversation on Twitter, and we want you to join in using the hashtag First of Many. Remember, that's the number 1 ST of many. So if you use that hashtag, we will share our favorite tweets on our broadcast. Dick and Bert.
All right, thank you very much, Jamie. Yesterday on Twitter, I know you got several inquiries. I got, I think, more inquiries about the Kevin Slowey autographed baseball we had. And as I tweeted after the game yesterday, I took the baseball, set it outside the press box here first thing this morning, and I checked a half hour later and it was gone. So it's a win-win situation. I no longer have a ball I didn't want, and someone else presumably has it.
Well, I got some tweets on that, and I referred them back to your.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're
I
welcome,
appreciate
because
that.
that was your baseball.
That's
not
right.
Mine.
That's right.
It was yours to give away.
Ryan Domit now with 2 strikes, hit a bouncer to short. He came up with 2 men aboard and 2 out in the first, and then Porcello got a big out to get out of the inning. He could not get the big out in the third, giving up instead a Willingham home run. 2 strikes to Domit, who will be followed by Plouffe and Parmalee. 1-2. You talked earlier about Porcello scrapping the slider, and of course Porcello, no one has the curveball that you had, but did you ever tinker with a second breaking pitch?
Just like a cut fastball. That's
okay.
all.
Okay.
Well, almost like just to get into left-handers, because as I got older, my fastball had a tendency to go back in against left-handers over the plate. And
that explains what happened.
And we were trying to work on a little cutter inside to left-handed hitters.
2-2 to Domit. Breaking ball wide. And again, Plouffe's on deck.
We see where we showed you Pelfrey, where he really takes his time getting over that pitching rubber. Porcello a little quicker in that last breaking ball because he was almost too quick. His arm was unable to catch up with his body.
High and fairly deep to center. And Jackson tracking this one all the way makes the catch one away.
Well, deepest part of the field here is right where Jackson is, 411 feet away.
Fox Sports North presents Kids in the City, supported by Buffalo Wild Wings, celebrating the accomplishments of the Boys and Girls Club youth at the 9th annual Kids in the City event, April 25th at Target Field. Enjoy an adult pre-party at Fulton Brewery. Silent auction, kids, interactive activities, and more. For sponsorship and tickets, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on North Supports under the More tab. Here's Plouffe. With a little nubber, and Porcello threw him out in the second inning. Talked earlier that there was talk, I don't know how serious, but there was talk of maybe converting Porcello to the closer for the Tigers. They've had some success and failure already from Phil Koch in that role, but today they made a move that may eventually settle that for Detroit.
Yeah, you know what? The question is, what do the Tigers do? Who's going to be the closer? Well, Jose Valverde was their closer over the last couple of years, and he's a free agent, and found out today that the Tigers have signed Valverde to a minor league contract. So he's going to go down to Lakeland, Florida. He's from the Dominican Republic. Tigers had some scouts go down there and look at him, and they thought that, he looked pretty good. That split finger, they said that he lost last year. He threw some very good split fingers. So they're hoping he goes down to Lakeland, Florida, and gets himself in pitching shape. Next time we play the Tigers, you might see him as their closer.
Which is great, because for fans who like tedious ninth innings that take forever to play, he's your guy. Full count to Plouffe. After a full count in the Domit at bat, Plouffe fouls one off his foot. Dave Dombrowski ended up holding an impromptu press conference behind our booth. He's a few doors down from us here at this level at Target Field. And Dombrowski said, if his representation, meaning Valverde's representation, had come to the Tigers back in November and said, hey, we'll sign a minor league deal, the Tigers would have jumped on it then, as they were holding out for a major league deal, a guaranteed job, and the Tigers didn't want that. And that's kind of the same situation that Jim Thome has found himself in, where he has wanted a guaranteed spot on a roster, and no American League team has jumped on that.
Well, a little different, I think, with Valverde, only because the Tigers have such high expectations this year.
Here's Plouffe lifting one high and deep to left field. Gone off the facing of the second deck. So you bury one into your left ankle on one pitch. You walk it off and hit one about 420 feet.
Well, Trevor Plouffe, who hit 24 home runs last year, gets his first, and the Twins have a lead. Looked like a breaking ball right here. Take a look at the pitch. No, it's a fastball. That Plouffe did not miss. I was saying, Dick, you know, the such high expectations. Great swing by Plouffe of the Tigers going to win a division. You can't. They can't go by, you know, who's going to be the closer. They need a closer.
Right. So you never bought into this closer by committee thing?
No, not with a team like the Tigers.
Right. And Plouffe lifting his first home run out of the ballpark. So a 3-2 Twins lead, 2 down, and here's Jamie Carroll. Again, there's no guarantee that Valverde will make it up to this level again. He needs to show effectiveness, proficiency. And then Dave Dombrowski said before signing him to a minor league deal, they've established parameters as to what the major league deal would look like. And the Tigers and Valverde have until May 5th to get him up to the big leagues. Otherwise, he can walk away from the minor league deal and then would go back into free agency. So in 1 month's time, things could change considerably for the Tigers. 1-1 to Carroll. Backhanded by Avila. Carroll pinch ran in the game last night. Tried to stay loose, running in the hallway behind the Twins dugout. There's a liner into center field. Carroll's got his first hit. Busting it around first, takes a big turn and holds up there.
Well, Jamie Carroll, such a professional hitter. 39 years old, his second season with the Twins, has always been a very good hitter, a career .276 hitter.
That'll bring up Florimon. Florimon with a bouncer to short. 2 hits, 5 at bats. He's been pinch hit for late in each of the first 2 ball games. Down low, ball 1. One of the changes this year I like as a I guess I'm a viewer. I watch the monitors up here. The pitch count, which keeps ticking away the pitches as we work through the ball game. It's such an important factor in the game these days.
Yeah, a lot of pitches for Porcello in 3+ innings.
Changeup gets a swing and a miss.
That's why you can't really go off spring training numbers. You look at Porcello in spring training. I know he's fighting for a job, but he was 4-1, 24 innings pitched in A games. He didn't walk anybody. 21 strikeouts.
Yeah.
You know, we saw Worley, we saw Correa. I mean, they didn't have very good spring training numbers, and they both had quality starts. So, you know, once that bell rings, everybody's different. Porcello here struggling a little bit early, throwing a lot of pitches.
Well, if the Tigers ever did get to the point where they wanted to shop Porcello, there'd be 29 teams in baseball that would be waiting for a phone call or waiting in line. Guy's 24 years old, the 200 inning a year pitcher. He's already gained a world of experience. He's pitched in the postseason. Florimon chops it to first, an easy play for Fielder, and that will end the inning. Couple of hits for the Twins in the fourth, including Trevor Plouffe's first home run. And for the first time this year, the Twins will play with a lead.
A 3-2 lead over the Tigers. Welcome back to Target Field. I'm Jamie Hirsch inside the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle. I'm here with Mariah and Alex, who have a beautiful Circle Us Bert sign. What'd you say?
Last night. Just made it last night.
They just made it last night. And how about this hat? How long have you had this?
I just got it a couple weeks ago, so Coles, what can I say?
Yeah, well, you don't even need that hat here in the sunshine. I'm a bit warm in my scarf, but hey, guys, because you are in this winner's circle, we're going to give you $100 worth of Minnesota Lottery scratch-off tickets. I'll give that to you there. Congratulations, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Dick and Bert.
Oh, you're both hereby circled. I think, Dick, you'd like to have that hat.
What makes you think I don't already have one? There are Kohl's stores all over the place. You can get one anywhere. You're within 15 minutes of a Kohl's store pretty much anywhere you are in the 5-state area. 2 strikes to Alex Avila leading off the 5th. Haven't seen Pelfrey throw too many slow breaking balls, but we saw him start Avila with one.
Yeah, to get strike one, 10 of the 17 batters he's faced so far has been able to get ahead. Pelfrey right now is 64 pitches, 44 strikes, no walks, 1 strikeout. Strikeout coming against Avila to end the 2nd inning.
1-2. And now 2-2. Full count with Infante on deck.
Avila in his 5th season with the Tigers. Made the All-Star team a couple years ago. He had that very good year. The .295, hit 19 home runs. Last year, not as well.
Popped up, it'll reach the seats. Avila went down swinging. The only strikeout for Pelfrey so far. And again, the 2 runs scored by the Tigers today are unearned runs on Pelfrey's ledger. back, left a pitch up, and Avila sent it to the screen. A couple of 2-0 teams in the division. Cleveland's beaten Toronto a couple of times. The White Sox have beaten the Royals a couple of times.
Well, again, you can't go off of spring training. Well, the Royals were what, 24 and 7, whatever they were in spring training.
And a fastball drifts wide. It's a leadoff walk here in the 5th.
First to walk for Pelfrey.
Infante to the plate. First, our carsoup.com email question. You can submit your question online at carsoup.com/baseball. Lori in Duluth, wondering how many pitchers do you think, we'll direct the question at you, can throw for 200+ innings with the Twins this season?
Well, you hope that 5 can, because that's, 5-man staff. You think all 5 would, but I think you have to look at the 3 horses, that already are pitching already. Correa, Worley, and Pelfrey. And you hope that, DeVries, if that forearm is okay, that he can. And also Liam Hendricks, who will be opening that Baltimore series in Baltimore tomorrow.
Scott Diamond, an outside chance once he
I
just hope on that list they're all starting pitchers. I don't want a relief pitcher throwing 200 innings.
I think it was back in the 70s, Bill Campbell, as a reliever, actually qualified for the ERA title because he threw over 162 innings in the bullpen.
Inside, and now Mauer's going to go to the mound with Pelfrey falling behind the number 9 batter after walking the number 8 batter.
Quick trip to the mound by Joe Mauer. Try to settle him back down, get that ball down in the strike zone, maybe get another double play.
Pelfrey and the Twins pitching and playing with the lead for the first time, a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, I've said it before, Dick. This is where Joe Mauer or any catcher becomes almost like second pitching coach. Maybe saw something right there. Hey, you're opening up a little bit. Get that ball down. Let's get a ground ball right here.
And having a hard time getting the ball down. It's 3-0. With Jackson on deck. Let's see if Pelfrey can come all the way back here against the number 9 batter.
Infante probably taking a pitch right here. And he does. Pelfrey's longest outing in spring training went 5 innings. That back on March 25th against the Cardinals in Fort Myers.
Twisting and turning. Ryan Presley out there, I believe. To center, and Hicks hardly has to move, 1 down. So Pelfrey does come back and get the number 9 batter, 1 out.
Yeah, that's a big out right there. You're struggling with your control a little bit. Just walked Avila on a 3-2 pitch, then fell behind an Infante and say, 3-1 here, hit it. And Infante hit it sharply, but right at Hicks for the first out.
That's what you see from veteran pitchers, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm guessing Pelfrey's, whatever it was, caused him to throw more balls than strikes. He's been around long enough. Guys who've been around a while can self-correct. And that was one of the frustrations with Francisco Liriano, who, when he lost his release point, it would take him innings to find it again.
I think that's one thing that I learned over the years. You can go out and strike out the side, and next inning you give up 4 or 5 hits. It's like, wait a minute, this isn't the same guy that just struck out 3. And it's just getting back into that zone that you're in. Sometimes it leaves you. You start noticing other things rather than just pounding the strike zone.
1-0 to Jackson. And now that said, he falls behind Jackson too.
Yeah, not a bad pitch right there. He wanted that ball in, but Joe had to go out and catch it. And sometimes you're not going to get that call when your catcher has to move as much as Joe did on that last pitch.
So falling behind batters here in the 5th, Joaquin Benoit getting loose in the Tiger pen. fouled back. Jackson with a big swing at the 2-0 pitch. A win and a loss, but in each of the first 2 games, the Twins starter lasted longer than the Tigers starter. Worley going 6 innings on Monday, and Correa going 7 innings yesterday.
Yeah, you'd like to walk out there as a pitcher and have your best stuff every inning, but it's the adjustments. If you go deep into a ball game, there's going to be 1 or 2 innings that you're going to have to struggle with your control.
Hooked down to the left field corner and foul.
And he got away with that pitch right there. Now you have to regroup. He just hung a fastball right there, and Jackson put on a great swing, but hooked it foul. Now you have to dig a little bit deeper to make that good pitch down. Take a look at the location right there, right down the middle. And the Twins get a break right there. Pelfrey got a break.
So Avila at first, 1 out, and 2-2 the count to Austin Jackson.
Yeah, this will be pitch number 80 for Mike Pelfrey.
Foul back. Looked like he left that pitch up again.
Maybe a little arm fatigue. You don't know. Your adrenaline is flowing. Remember, this is his first start since April of 2012 of last season. You get pumped up, and all of a sudden now you're in the game, and now at 80 pitches, you maybe a little arm fatigue. And also maybe mind fatigue more than that. 15, 20, 13, 14, 18 so far here in the 5th.
Deep counts with all 3 batters so far here in the 5th. Pounded foul.
Better pitch right there. Better pitch down.
The mental part of it is a big part of it too. We'll take another look at the pitch here.
Yeah, good angle right here. Good sinker down. That creates a ground ball. He just hooked it foul. Yeah, you're right, Dick. It's more the mental sometimes. You start fighting yourself rather than just letting what got you here in the 5th inning stay. Don't lose it. It's easy to lose.
Another 2-2 to Jackson. That's a check swing, and that ball's going to roll toward the dugout. It's ball 3.
That should be a pass ball right there.
Mauer.
That ball had some movement on it. Now Joe's going out. Don't know if he maybe crossed up. Watch Joe move right here. The ball's a 2-seamer, and
well, that almost looked like a cross-up.
Yeah, that must have been a cross-up for them Joe to go out and talk to him. With a runner at first base, the Twins do use more than one sign, because a lot of times base stealers or base runners will peek in if they only use one sign. We did that in the WBC. We had success with it. World Baseball Classic, I had our catcher do that. Same thing. Because you get a lot of guys that, will peek in, and if they see, 2 or a wiggle, they may have a tendency maybe try to steal. Or if they see more than one sign, they're not sure what the sign is.
Another full count to Jackson with first base open, and Avila at second. And he missed. So Jackson walks, 2 walks in the inning, the only 2 issued by Pelfrey so far.
Yeah, I was going to say this would be a good time for Rick Anderson to come out, and exactly what he's doing. Good trip to the mound right here. Try to get him back focused into maybe getting a ground ball.
Well, Torrey Hunter's hit 2 of them on the ground against Pelfrey, both of them to shortstop Florimo. Twins tickets for the 2013 season remain affordable and available, starting at just $8. Special deals await for every day of the week. Check out the deal that works best for you and your budget. Visit twinsbaseball.com/tickets or call 800-33-TWINS and get yours today. Now that guy did not pay $8 for that seat. So your $8 seat will be better than the one he had. And plus you have the luxury of having vendors come by. He does not. If you have to go to the bathroom, you can go. Good luck to him. Well, we'll see if the trip to the mound can induce another ground ball to Pedro Florimon off the bat of Hunter.
Well, you know one thing about Torrey Hunter, he's not going to take too many pitches, especially with a guy fighting his control. He's going to look fastball and be ready to swing, and he bunts, and it's a good one.
Plouffe fires, and a good play by Trevor Plouffe. That looked like a base hit from the time Hunter laid it down, and Plouffe charged and delivered a strong throw.
I'll tell you what,
2.
that's what I thought it was going to be too, but Plouffe made a really nice play, came charging in. Now he's playing behind the bag. Torrey saw that, laid it down, and Plouffe came in, had to barehand it, and on the run make a good throw. Very nice defensive play by Trevor Plouffe.
I'm not sure Torrey could have bunted it any better than he did.
Look how far he has to go get that ball, and on the run, able to get something on that throw. Look at that. What a nice play by Trevor Plouffe.
You saw that a few times in spring training. Charging the ball and making that throw is something that Plouffe seems to excel at. He's made that play a number of times. I suppose the bunt could have been a little bit softer, but that sure looked like a base hit when Torrey laid it down.
Yeah, he robbed Torrey right there.
2 in scoring position for Cabrera, 2 away. And Pelfrey trying to wriggle out of this self-induced jam with a pair of walks.
Now you have first base open, and this where, good clubs complement each other.
Fouled
because
away.
Cabrera, you can say, okay, we're going to walk him, but then you've got Fielder on deck, a left-handed hitter with power.
And remember, 2 years ago, that's what happened with the Tigers and Cabrera at the plate. They didn't have Fielder hitting behind him. And when Martinez went down with the injury, Dave Dombrowski reacted very quickly and said, look, if we don't have somebody hitting behind Cabrera, they're going to intentionally walk him twice a game.
Maybe 3 times.
1 strike. On the ground,
Good
Florimon gathers it in and rifles his throw to Morneau.
Good pitch inside.
And Pelfrey gutted it out in the 5th. The Twins still have the lead. Twins have hit a couple of home runs today. Josh Willingham will have another chance in the 5th.
Target Field, where the Twins lead at 3-2 over the Tigers. We're about to see Aaron Hicks step up to the plate once again today. Guys, actually an interesting story with him. He's number 32, of course, but his father, who played in the minor leagues, was number 31. So when we asked him what went into choosing his number, he said part of the reason was because he wanted to be even better than his dad. His father's always told him, be better than I was. So he said, hey, why not pick one number up from that, number 32? And of course, another very famous center fielder just 2 numbers away from that in Kirby Puckett, guys.
Thank you very much, Jamie. And then there was the matter of Dave Winfield, who was a teammate of Aaron's father in the minor leagues with the Padres. And Winfield, when he played for the Twins, wore number 32. 1 strike to Hicks. Bouncer right side. And Fonte throws him out. And so Hicks today got a tweet from Dave Winfield saying, I'm going to have to follow this Hicks guy, because now he's worn the number 32 in part because of the Hall of Famer. Well, Hicks 0 for 3 again today. And here comes Joe Mauer. Mauer picking up a base hit before the game started, a scoring change from Monday, and another base hit in the 3rd with 2 outs, which set up Willingham's game-tying 2-run home run. And strike 1. Asked Ron Gardenhire this morning about the catching situation, the fact that these have been day games. There was an off day on Tuesday. Mauer catching all 3 games. But that in Baltimore, at some point, Ryan Doman will get a start. You can imagine either Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, we have a day game tomorrow in Baltimore, opening day for the Orioles, and then the night game, and then the Sunday day game.
Be the Oriole home opener tomorrow. And then when we get to Kansas City, the Royals are scheduled for their home opener. Mauer lifts it high and deep to left field. Kelly retreating to the warning track. Leaps and makes the catch. A deep fly into whatever wind we have here today, or else Mauer might have joined the home run parade.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins. Boy, I messed that up.
Oh, what was that?
I think I wanted Mauer to go deep right there. I was thinking more about that than.
There's Willingham taking a strike. Porcello fell behind Willingham in the 3rd inning, and then Willingham cranked one. His first home run of the year with a man aboard to tie the game. Breaking ball, hooked foul. And Willingham swung at that like he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Nice catch out there.
Use both hands, and he did.
Inside 1-2. Popped up right side. Fielder backpedaling. Infante. It's Fielder at the catch out, number 3. And Porcello bounces back with a 1-2-3 pitch.
heading into the 6th. Thanks to those two guys you just saw there. We wanted to hear your thoughts in our Tweet Talk segment. So we use the hashtag first of many. This from Mike. He says, Twins bats showed up today. Hammer and Trevor Plouffe appear to be having a home run competition again against hashtag first of many. And from Dylan, gotta enjoy watching Josh Willingham and Trevor Plouffe. First of many for them. Let's see if we can get some more going today, Dick and Bert.
Well, thank you, Jamie. Yeah, I remember last year when Trevor Plouffe was on his home run tear, it seemed like every time Plouffe hit a home run, Willingham would hit one. And so that's what we got going here today, 1-1. Fielder, Martinez, and Kelly, the 4, 5, and 6 batters for Detroit.
I think what you saw if you were watching the monitor last inning when Pelfrey came off, Ron Gardenhire, Rick Anderson both talked to Pelfrey. He's right now closing in on 90 pitches. I think a very short leash going into this inning. Asked him how he felt. I'm sure he said, I'm okay, but there's already some action in the bullpen. Looks like Brian Dunsing starting to loosen up. Pelfrey so far, 10 ground ball outs, only 4 fly ball outs to go with the strikeout.
1-2 to Fielder.
And this will be pitch number 90.
Tapper right side should be an easy play for Morneau. 1 away. Hey, I make a lot of mistakes up here, and some are easier.
Me too.
Some are easier to correct than others, but I misspoke before. Of course, Dave Winfield never did play in the minor leagues, but Dave Winfield was Aaron Hicks's father's favorite player when Aaron Hicks's father was in the Padres system. So Aaron Hicks's dad wore number 31. And Aaron Hicks wears number 32. But, of course, Winfield came right out of college and jumped right into the big leagues.
Great athlete.
My bad.
Well, he was drafted by 3 professional sports.
Hadn't played football since high school or junior high, and still drafted by the Vikings. 1-0 to Victor Martinez. Don Kelly will follow. Breaking ball breaks over.
Gotta like what you've seen out of the 3 starters so far. Worley on Monday, as we take a look at this pitch, on Monday, 13 ground ball outs. Almost like a little cutter right there. Took something off the breaking ball. So far, 11 ground ball outs off the arm of Mike Pelfrey.
Foul back.
Correa yesterday, 7 very good innings.
You saw on the screen there, 92 miles per hour. Now, if he's got movement, 92 is plenty fast, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not a big believer in the gun that you have to throw 96, 97. Hit your spots. The best pitchers in baseball that are Hall of Famers didn't have that 96, 97. They weren't like Nolan Ryan. He was a freak of nature. Randy Johnson, freak of nature. But most guys, I think of Catfish Hunter, Ferguson, Jenkins, Don Sutton, they could hit their spots.
1-2 to Victor Martinez.
They change speeds well.
Well, Pelfrey, in the back of his mind, maybe even in the front of his mind, he wants to get through this inning.
Oh, yes.
Twins have Dunsing warming up, but the Twins have started this season with 2 quality starts where the starter's gone at least 6, and Pelfrey wants to join the group if he can get 2 more outs here. And that drifts wide, 3-2.
And as a reliever, too, you want to start an inning, and so far, so good. The 2 previous starters went 6 and 7, and they left after that, so a reliever could start the next inning.
Don Kelly on deck. Pelfrey realizing after walking 2 men in the 5th, he does have a short leash here in the 6th.
Well, I tell you what, he worked his tail end off to get out of that 5th inning. Made some good pitches toward the end, especially to Cabrera.
Hicks to the gap. Plays it on a hop, and Martinez with his 2nd sharp single of the ball game, and Hicks wisely pulled up there. Last thing you need is to give up an extra base or 2 trying to make a diving catch. So here comes Ron Gardenhire, and Pelfrey's leash has run out.
Yep. Well, fastball right here, and Martinez, such a good hitter. He was looking for his first hit coming into today's play. Picks up his 2nd one. Good swing.
And the Twin starter gets a chance to
Get a nice ovation coming off the mound in the middle of an inning, and Pelfrey's done his job. No earned runs through 5 1/3 innings. Pelfrey will watch and hope that Brian Dunsing can preserve the Twins lead and get the last 2 outs of the 6th. If you're looking for the best Twins coverage on the web, read Tyler Mason's daily stories and columns all season long at foxsportsnorth.com.
Yeah, Dunsing coming in. He worked on Monday. Had a little bit of control problems through 18 pitches, only 7 strikes. Had a couple walks, 1 intentional in 2/3 of an inning. Those are his numbers from last year. We mentioned it on Monday. Brian Dunsing very happy, and he knows what his role is. He's not the spot starter. You know, is he going to start the season as a starter? Now he's in the bullpen. He knows what his role is, and that's basically the long man out of the bullpen.
Casey Fiend was awesome on Monday, striking out the 3 batters he faced. Dunsing struggled a little bit with his control. Couple of walks, one of them intentional, and a run allowed.
Right. Josh Renicky came in, did a good job. And Burton and Perkins. Perkins ended up getting the win when the Twins came back and scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th.
So Dunsing will face not the left-handed batting Don Kelly, but right-handed hitting Matt Tuiasosopo, making his first Tiger plate appearance of the year.
Tuiasosopo with the Seattle Mariners. Now a member of the Detroit Tigers.
Pitch missing up high. Swing and a miss. Tuiasosopo with just under 200 major league at-bats. 5 home runs.
Yeah, 3 seasons with Seattle, a career .234 hitter.
Utility player. Made the team as a non-rostered player for the Tigers. 1-1.
Last year in the Met organization. Spent the whole season down in AAA.
Fouled back. You know, we mentioned from time to time, and I'll go ahead and say I probably made too big of a deal about it. Dunsing's difficulty in retiring right-handed batters on a consistent basis. Last year, his right-handed batting average was .310, and then you realize the inflated numbers for Phil Koch, who was the Tiger closer when right-handers hit nearly 400 against him. Suddenly, Dunsing's .310 doesn't look so bad. See if he can get this right-handed batter
See if he can get a ground ball here.
Pop up right center field. Chased by Parmalee. Out number 2. So Dunsing gets Tuiasosopo, and now another right-handed batter, Peralta.
Brian Dunsing, 30 years old, in his 5th season with the Twins. Came up in 2009.
Bauer to the mound to talk to Dunsing.
One thing Brian really worked on in spring training is that changeup to help him get right-handers out. You know, pretty good fastball, both sides of the plate, but something off speed away. There's a fastball in.
That seems to be the pitch, doesn't it? When you've got a left-hander who has a tough time against right-handed batters, you assume they've got a serviceable fastball and breaking pitch, but the addition of that third pitch to neutralize the right-handed batters. 1-0. And earlier we mentioned Frank Viola, and Viola had a good fastball, but not an exceptional fastball. He had a decent breaking ball, but it was the changeup that just absolutely destroyed right-handed batters.
Every time I think of Frankie V, I think of an inning that he pitched. He faced 3 batters, struck them all out on 10 changeups in a row.
2-0.
He had such, he like Brad Radke, Santana. He just had that great circle changeup.
Dunsing, who walked a guy and eventually got charged with a run here on Monday, now falls behind Peralta 3-0.
Well, Peralta has the green light right here, so you want to be careful. Peralta has some pop in that bat. 145 career home runs.
Down the middle of strike.
Good pitch. Good pitch down. Peralta, I'm sure, looking something up that he could drive.
And a foul fills the count, and Martinez.
That might have been the changeup right there at 88. Just took a little off right there. Peralta, a hitter that stands right on top of the plate, too.
Runner at first, Martinez needs all the help he can get, and he will leave early here on a 3-2 pitch with 2 away.
See Justin playing behind him.
Snagged by Florimone, and he'll have no throw. Nice diving stop, but no chance for an out to be recorded. First and second, 2 away, and Avila to the plate.
Yeah, nice play by Florimone, and it was more of a heads-up play after he realized, I can't get a good grip on this ball. It's a breaking ball. And Florimone right here, sometimes you say, okay, go ahead and throw it, but he decides not to. That's good. He could have thrown that ball over the head, short of Morneau, maybe further damage, but good decision on holding that ball.
If Victor Martinez had hit that ball, he may have come up and tried to throw to get the runner or get the out at first base. Here's Avila with the tying run at second and 2 away. And a first pitch strike. Avila with a strikeout and a walk. Popped up center field. Hicks comes in. To end it, Dunsing gets a couple of outs. The Twins' lead is preserved, extending the wonderful start by Mike Pelfrey, and Trevor Plouffe will hit in the bottom of the inning.
Brewed cup of premium roast coffee from McDonald's, any size, just $1. And by Toyota. Let's go places. To find the nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Twins in front. Brian Dunsing cleaning up a little bit of a situation in the top of the sixth.
Yeah, good job by Brian Dunsing.
Century link to what's next. Trevor Plouffe with his solo home run in the fourth inning, the difference in the ball game. Plouffe will hit again here in the sixth. But first, it'll be Justin Morneau against Rick Porcello. And for the first time this year, a Tigers starter throws a pitch in the sixth inning, and Porcello almost sent it to the screen on the fly.
Just a little high. See, he's working on that hitting that limestone right there with a runner at third.
And a busted bat flare into left. Morneau's aboard with an opening base hit. Second hit for Morneau on the day. And the hits are even now at 6 apiece.
Every time Justin does that, I always think good, because that means that he's more on the ball if he hits that ball the other way. The home runs will come, but that ball that's outer half of the plate, when Justin tries to pull that ball, we've seen a lot of ground ball outs, but when he's able to get this ball away and go that way, that's the Justin at his best right there. Take it the other way.
Here's Domet. Strike at the knees. One hit, an RBI single for Domet in 11 at bats. Used exclusively as a designated hitter so far this year. Breaking ball off the plate.
You know, Twins have had some good hitters like, Mauer, and even Joe takes that pitch the other way. And, you watch them in batting practice, and that's what they work on. And sometimes you get pull happy, especially a guy as strong as Justin. When that ball is away like that, about 90 miles an hour, it's hard to kind of pull that ball. Even though he looked like he hit it off the end of the bat.
Chipped into
good
center.
Base hit.
And Jackson comes in for the catch, one away.
Porcello fell behind on that pitch just out of the strike zone on the first pitch, but then comes up with another fastball about belt high. You see the location, outer half of the plate, even though it's off the end of the bat. Justin, you can see opening up, but still strong enough to hit it the other way in the left field.
Trevor Plouffe crushed the last pitch he saw from Porcello off the facing of the second deck. Solo home run in the fourth that gave the Twins a 3-2 lead that they are still enjoying.
Yeah, 395-foot home run for Trevor Plouffe. Got a fastball to his liking.
Now he'll try to hit it over Tuiasa Sopo's head in left field. Ball one. We're underway in St. Petersburg. The Orioles and Tampa Bay Rays playing each other. Twins hope to get to Baltimore a couple hours before the Orioles do to open up the series tomorrow. And Avila scoops one out of the dirt. 2-0. One thing you can say about the American League Central, it's got some really good catchers. You got Mauer for the Twins, Salvador Perez for the Royals, Carlos Santana for the Indians, and Alex Avila for the Tigers. 3-0. And then Tyler Flowers has homered a couple of times already for the White Sox. Of the group, I don't know how you feel about it. I think Joe Mauer's going to the Hall of Fame. What he's done so far, if he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy, yes.
A 4-pitch walk will put Trevor Plouffe aboard and send Morneau to second base.
It almost looked like Porcello wanted no part of Trevor Plouffe.
Jim Leyland to the mound. We're going to have a pitching change here in advance of the Chris Parmelee at bat. So 5 1/3 innings for the Twin starter, and as it's turned out now, 5 1/3 innings for the Tiger starter. And a threat for the Twins in the sixth as they hope to expand their lead.
a big one.
They're probably one of the favorites in the American League.
We were on top of the division for a long time, and they were looking up at us.
I don't remember there being many blowouts. We always played them pretty close.
If you're not on your A game, then chances of you winning are slim.
You know, the pitching staff that they have in Verlander and Scherzer.
Followed up with a lineup from top to bottom that there's some dangerous hitters.
For a pitcher, it's kind of a nightmare. Everyone knows in David and Goliath, David wins, so it should be interesting to see how it goes this year.
And I think you can make the case that the rivalry with the Tigers has at least edged up on the rivalry with the White Sox, if not surpassed it. The rivalry with the White Sox has dimmed a little bit over the last few years, and because the Tigers have been so good, the Tigers might be the Twins' #1 rival.
Well, you know, it's been going on a long time. It was one time that the Twins controlled the Tigers, and now recently the Tigers have pretty much controlled the Twins. But right now the Twins have a 3-2 lead. Octavio Dotel coming in, making his first appearance here in 2013. Still a hard-throwing right-hander at 39 years old. Tigers are his 13th different major league team to pitch for in his second season with the Tigers.
He's the only component in the Tiger bullpen the Twins have not seen so far in this series. Chris Parmelee with runners at first and second and one out. He kind of slings that ball in, a low three-quarter fastball with some sink, and he hits the knees, strike one. Parmelee 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts on the year. He has walked a couple of times. So he'd like to get his first hit. Hicks would like to get his first hit. Checked his swing and took it high, 1-1. Yeah, for a couple of years, Dotel was the definition of a baseball nomad. In 2010 and 11, he pitched for, in order, the Pirates, Dodgers, Rockies, Blue Jays, and Cardinals. That's just in 2 seasons. And this is his second straight year now with the Tigers.
So he found a home. That's what you're saying.
By his standards, yes.
This is his 21st year of professional baseball. He signed originally with the Mets back in 1993 out of the Dominican Republic. And of the 13 teams, there's not a team that he played for twice. Starting with the Mets.
Go back to a team.
Right. Came up for the Mets in '99.
1-2. And Parmelee strikes out again, 2 down. A couple of young hitters that are really having a tough go of it in the opening series here. And that'll bring up Jamie Carroll. A total of 34 starts way back at the beginning of his career with the Mets and the Astros. Closing experience most recently with the Pirates in 2010. Carroll takes strike one. Twins need a 2-out hit here. They've had a chance given to them here in the 6th inning. The walk to Plouffe, pushing Morneau into scoring position.
That's why I looked at Jimmy Leland when he said, you know, it's kind of like saved by committee out of that bullpen. You look at Dotel, he has 109 saves where, you know, Koch only had 6 coming into this year, and Benoit, I believe he only had 13. So I thought, well, this guy would be the guy that would close ball games for the Tigers. But Jim Leland has gone with Phil Koch on Monday and Wednesday. It worked on Monday. It did not work on Wednesday.
1-1 to Carroll. To right center field. Jackson is there to make the catch. Carroll put pretty good wood on the ball, but it's a fly out at the end of the 6th. for the first time.
Well, another good start by a starter, Mike Pelfrey. 5 1/3, very good innings. He gave up a couple runs, but both of them were unearned. 5 hits, all singles. He needed some offensive help. So here comes Josh Willingham in a 2-0 Tiger lead. He ties it in the 3rd inning with a big 2-run home run. And then the next inning with 1 out, Trevor Plouffe, a solo home run. Gives the Twins a 1-run lead.
That's where we're at as we move to the 7th inning. From his journey to the big leagues to his offseason family life and charitable foundation for kids, Fox Sports North shines the spotlight on Josh Willingham Friday at 5:30. It'll be Josh Renicky coming out of the Twins bullpen to pitch to the Tigers in the 7th.
Yeah, Renicky worked here on Monday afternoon against the Tigers. He finished the ball game, worked an inning in the 3rd. He did come in, throw that wild pitch, the first pitch, but after that settled down nicely. No hits allowed, 1 strikeout. Renicky wearing that Twins uniform for the first time into this season, coming over from the Colorado Rockies the last couple of years, where he was claimed off waivers by the Twins from the Rocky organization back in early November.
And Infante with a low bridge, 1-1. A breaking ball right on the outside corner, and then a fastball under his chin.
Yeah, fastball at 90 miles an hour. With some little bit of movement, get out of the way. Infante able to.
We were joking before about a relief pitcher pitching 200 innings. Of course, that's not going to happen, and the Twins maybe with Bill Campbell maybe coming as close as anyone will come. A pitch in the dirt, and that came up and did hit Infante. Renicky, though, by standards today, did throw a lot of innings last year. He pitched in 63 games for the Rockies and pitched 88 in 2/3 innings. That's quite a workload for a reliever.
Yeah, if you've heard the name Renicky before, he's the son of former major leaguer Gary Renicky and the nephew of Brewers manager Ron Renicky. So got good baseball blood in him.
3-1. Gary Renicky, his father played principally for the Orioles, as I recall. And a 5-pitch walk puts the number 9 batter aboard. The tying runs on with nobody out. MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Twins baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit twinsbaseball.com for details.
Well, you see Ron Gardenhire, Rick Anderson looking over the lineup, and you don't want to walk that leadoff hitter. And Rick Anderson on the phone out to the bullpen talking to Bobby Cuellar. A new face out in that bullpen. No more Rich Stelmasic. Now it's Bobby Cuellar, the bullpen coach.
Jackson the batter, and he hits one into the left field corner, and it's got some carry. Hard off the wall. Infante to third. Jackson to second. It's a double. And the tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second with nobody out. Jackson nearly hit enough loft on that ball to hit it out.
Remember in his last at bat against Mike Pelfrey, he got a ball and hooked it foul. This one, he did not hook foul. That ball down, but drops the barrel of the bat and hits a line drive against the wall in left field for a double. First extra base hit for the Tigers in this ball game.
The walk that started the inning, unfortunately, part of Renicky's game. He has averaged more than a walk every other inning. And his leadoff walk here in the 7th has set up the Tigers. Hunter at the plate, corner infielders up, and there's a strike at the knees. Middle infielders back. They'll look to get an out here if it's hit up the middle and concede the tying run.
Well, Torrey picked up an RBI in the first inning in this situation, runner at third, when Jackson was able to get over to third on a stolen base and an error by Mauer.
On the outside corner. So quickly ahead of Hunter, 0-2. Such a big man to get here, because if you can retire Hunter, strikeout, pop-up, grounder to the corner, whatever, you've got first base open and Cabrera due up next. Got him with a high fastball. One away. And now we'll see what the Twins do with Cabrera.
They almost have to walk him here. I believe they've already said they're going to walk him, but Renicky rearing back and on 3 pitches able to get the first out on a strikeout of Torrey Hunter.
Now the Twins do have, I believe, Tyler Robertson warming up in their pen. And he, with Maurer going to the mound, makes you think that the decision's already made. Casey Fien also warming up, but Maurer taking a little more time, allowing Robertson to take a little more time to get warmed up, perhaps.
Right. And they're going to go ahead and walk Cabrera. This sets up a force out at any base.
And so Cabrera will fill first base. And they'll be loaded up now for Prince Fielder. And here comes Ron Gardenhire to make the pitching change. So Renicky technically issuing 2 walks, but the second intentional because of the first walk and the double by Jackson. They'll be loaded up. The Twins are going to bring in Tyler Robertson to face Prince Fielder again. Get a big out here with 1 out and the bases loaded. It'll be Tyler Robertson facing Prince Fielder.
Well, what you're going to get out of Tyler Robertson is a fastball not overpowering, but a lot of sliders. Those are his numbers from last year. High ERA, 26 strikeouts in 25 innings, and that's what he's thinking right here.
Last year, Robertson was brought in a similar spot to face Fielder at Comerica Park. And Fielder watched slider after slider after slider, and finally Fielder picked one out he liked and crushed one into the seats at Comerica Park. So Fielder remembers that. Robertson remembers that. We'll see how they go about business here with the bases full.
Twins playing back, looking for the double play ball.
Check swing, taken inside, ball 1.
Looked like he started him off with a fastball middle in. Fastball at 85.
There's the slider, and Maurer catches it out of the dirt. A swing and a miss, 1-1. Infante at third, Jackson at second, and Cabrera at first. 1-1. Hook foul.
They went to another fastball. Because of so many sliders, you try to change it up a little bit.
Fielder got jammed. It sounded like he might have cracked his bat, but apparently not. So now working ahead. If he's going to throw the slider, he needs to make it a good one. Maybe another one in the dirt. And lifted foul. Almost looked like a straight changeup.
That would look like the slider right there, and it just kind of spun down and in. Let's take another look. Is it the slider or is it a changeup? Yeah, slider.
So Fielder fights that off, whatever it was. Check swing. He went. And Robertson got him on strikes, 2 down. And a nice block by Mauer at the end.
Well, a big strikeout right there for Tyler Robertson. He must have very tight rotation on that breaking ball. We'll do a little pitch by pitch. The first pitch inside. It just misses. Show him that fastball. Then the slider that Fielder swung through. Then the fastball again inside. And a breaking ball that stayed inner half, and then the quickness of that slider gets his strikeout.
Robertson made the team to get left-handed batters out. He did his job today. He'll come out of the ball game with Victor Martinez, a switch hitter. The next Tiger batter to face a bases-loaded situation, but now with 2 out. So that's Prince Fielder by Tyler Robertson.
That brings in Casey Fiend here on Monday. I don't know if you could do any better than Casey Fiend did on Monday. He struck out the side in the 7th inning. Jackson, Hunter, and Cabrera on Monday. Fiend, once property of the Detroit Tigers, signed by the Tigers back in 2006. Twins want just 1 out right here with bases loaded and 2 outs. Here in the top of the 7th inning.
First couple games in this series, Victor Martinez didn't look like he was close to getting a hit, but he's got 2 sharp hits in the ballgame, 2 singles, and a fly out to center field. He comes up in a big spot here. Again, this is one area that the Tigers really missed Martinez last year. He got so many clutch hits for them 2 years ago, and he's in an RBI spot here late in the ballgame with the Twins leading by a run.
Oh, you saw those numbers right there. A .340 career hitter with bases loaded.
Fiend did not face Martinez on Monday. Down and away, ball 1. 1-0 to the Tiger DH. There's a strike on the outside corner. One of the reasons Fien was so good with the Twins last year, which you just saw there, he threw a high percentage of strikes, just one walk every 4 innings, and a lot of favorable pitching counts.
Well, he started Martinez off with 2 changeups, missed with the first one, came right back with the other one to even the count.
Well, 88 miles per hour. We've seen him throw a low 90s, something a little off the fastball, and it's 1-2.
What Fien has for a breaking ball is that tight slider.
Martinez has taken all 3 pitches. Foul back. In Fien's major league career, in just 49 innings, 50 now counting the one on Monday. 50 innings, 44 strikeouts, and just 15 walks.
He came up with the Tigers in 2009 and 10.
Robertson getting out number 2. Fien asked to get out number 3. One and 2 to Victor Martinez. Popped up. Carroll calls for it. The bullpen gets the job done in the 7th. There with the middle of this Tiger lineup. Casey Fien got the last out. Now, yesterday we showed you our Pepsi fan of the game, someone wearing a St. Cloud State sweatshirt, and we just assume that that's under the Twins jacket, and that person too is a Husky fan cheering the St. Cloud State team on in the Frozen Four starting in a week and a half in Pittsburgh, I believe.
Well, Darren Downs coming out of the bullpen. He worked in yesterday's ball game, an inning and a third. He did give up a run with a walk and 3 strikeouts, making his 2nd appearance this year. Those are his numbers from last year.
Now we saw Scott Downs pitch last night for the Angels. Darren Downs for the Tigers. So it'll be a couple of switch hitters to get things started. Florimon and Hicks, and then Joe Mauer.
And Florimon hitting for the third time. This is the first time this year he's hit for the third time.
First time the Twins have been in front at this point of the game. Strike one.
Well, we saw from Downs good sinking fastball, good curveball, and a changeup.
And a breaking ball down and in, a swinging strike, 0-2. Florimon's first appearance as a right-handed batter. It'll be Hicks's second appearance as a right-handed batter. And that was quick. One away.
Quick breaking ball right there.
So we'll see if Hicks can fare better, maybe get that first major league hit as a right-handed batter. Downs had a great spring training. Made the team on merit. Great cutter. Let's see if Hicks can get the barrel of the bat out on one. Hitless in his first 10 major league at bats with 6 strikeouts, and all but one of them, all but one of his at bats, is a left-handed batter. Way out in front. Strike one.
Good change up there by Downs.
Today a fly to left, a strikeout looking, and a ground ball to second. Mauer in the shadows, about to step into the sunlight. Five pitches, 5 strikes, and
another changeup right there.
A lot of swings and misses here in the 7th inning for both Florimon and Hicks. Hicks just needs to get that first hit and relax a little bit, I suppose. Takes outside, 1-2. He didn't have any 0 for 10s in spring training. And we know spring training numbers don't count, but he just looked so composed. He looked like a 10-year veteran for most of the exhibition schedule. 2-2. Had a chance to add to the lead in the 6th. Didn't get a big hit. Hicks trying to start something in the 7th. Close pitch taken for ball 3.
Yeah, good take the last 2 pitches. That breaking ball that struck out Florimon he took, and then that pitch away.
Tap foul, just got a piece of it. Downs getting a new baseball, and Hicks is hoping that that baseball has a short life, that he'll get his base hit, they'll take the ball out of the game.
He's sending that baseball, probably don't know where he'll send that baseball once he gets that first hit. Saw Jared Burton loosening up.
And he fights one off to stay alive. You know, it's tough when you're striking out time after time, as Hicks has been in this series. And you're Tom Bernansky. You've worked with Hicks before in years past. You're trying to build his confidence and establish his confidence in you. You need something to build from. And even if it's a long at bat, where you battled and grinded out an at bat.
Even if it's a dying quail somewhere, you don't care. Just get an average.
Foul tip, and Avila hangs on, 2 away.
Well, it looked like Downs went back to that breaking ball, and Hicks a strikeout victim.
Time now for the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. We'll take a look at the on-base percentage leaders from last season. Joe Mauer leading the major leagues at .416. Prince Fielder .412. Buster Posey .408. Andrew McCutchen and Mike Trout.
5 Hall of Fame names up there.
Here's Mauer with the bases empty. Low ball 1. Mauer with a single and a run scored in the 3rd. A warning track fly ball in the 5th. Strike that covers the inside corner. And a slow breaking ball for strike 2. Smiley, Downs, and Koch, the 3 lefties for the Tigers. And Downs gets ahead of Mauer 1-2. Ooh, close pitch, 2-2. And we know Mauer's got an exceptional eye, but from up here that looked like that was an awfully close pitch. 2-2. Up the middle. But Peralta behind the bag scoops and fires, and Downs has a 1-2-3 7th inning.
In trouble, a leadoff walk, a double, and then a big strikeout of Torrey Hunter. That was Josh Renicky. That's what he was able to do. He ended up walking Cabrera to load the bases. Tyler Robertson came in and got a big strikeout of Prince Fielder for the 2nd out. And then with Victor Martinez up, Casey Fiend did his job and got that final out. A big 0 put on the board by the Twins, holding on to that 1-run lead. Good job by the bullpen.
And Jared Burton will try to take the baton and get the Twins through the 8th inning. He'll face Andy Dirks, a Detroit pinch hitter, in the 8th inning. Burton with a good inning the other day.
Yeah, yesterday, 1 shutout inning with a strikeout through 12 pitches, 7 for strikes. He worked the 8th inning in yesterday's ball game.
And that Burton's able to pitch in back-to-back games. Remember, a year ago, that was something the Twins were reluctant to have him do
because he was fresh off of some shoulder issues. Burton hopes to pitch more regularly than he did last year and just as effectively. Dirks, Peralta, and Avila here in the Tiger eighth. And a breaking ball down and in. Kelly was 1 for 2. Tuiasa Sopo was 0 for 1, hitting in the 6th spot in the Tiger batting order. Up and away with a fastball, and it's 2-0. Dirks, the starting left fielder in the first 2 games, 0 for 6 on the season. 3-0. Twins got away with the leadoff walk in the 7th. And for that matter, the Tigers did once in the ball game yesterday, but the second time in the late innings, the leadoff walk pretty much sunk them. So Burton does not want to do that here. And he misses badly. So a leadoff walk puts the tying run aboard again. Twins tickets remain affordable and available for this year. Every Wednesday, hot dogs are only $1. And if you can't make the game on Wednesdays, don't worry. Special ticket deals and offers are available every day of the week. Check out the deals that work for you. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com and enjoy some Twins baseball at Target Field. Well, it was an adventure in the 7th, but eventually the bullpen got the 3 outs. They had to face 6 guys to do it. Now a leadoff walk brings Peralta to the plate. Peralta with 2 ground balls to third, one of them a double play grounder and a base hit. Popped up. Peralta tried to jump on a first pitch fastball he thought was grooved.
Well, remember last inning, Twins needed 3 relievers to get out of that inning. The Twins don't have 3 more relievers out there. So it's up to Jared Burton to work out of this situation.
Not the situation you want Ryan Presley to make his major league debut in.
No.
As a Rule 5 pickup. So he's pretty much off the boards here. Villarreal warming up. Tapped foul, and Burton gets ahead of Peralta 0-2. Mauer with another chat with his relief pitcher. May as well be sure, I guess. Figure out what one battery mate wants to do, how he wants to approach the situation.
Well, we saw Joe get crossed up earlier in the ball game and making sure they're on the same page. What sign they're using with a runner at first. Dirk's not really a threat to try to steal a base.
High fastball. One and two, and Burton steps off. Time called by Peralta at the plate. Got an issue of some sort, and I'm not sure what.
Yeah, something toward the Tiger dugout.
Yeah, 2 umpires are going to talk about this. Corey Blazer and Jim Joyce, and they're pointing something near the Tiger on deck circle. So I have no idea what this is about. I saw Corey Blazer take his glasses off and point toward the Tiger dugout.
Or toward the camera well.
1-2. Fisted foul, and Morneau chasing it, but it's back into the seats.
Twins didn't issue a walk through 4 innings. And they've issued 5 walks since, counting the intentional walk last inning.
Well, Peralta hit into a double play to end the 4th. That's what Burton would like to get right here. Get a double play ball. Get a ground ball. And Mauer again going out. I don't think it's about the sides. I think it's just a pitch selection.
Right. We were ahead in the count. I mean, might he be talking about setting up the second pitch with the first pitch or what?
Maybe Mauer wanting a certain pitch and Burton shaking him off, and maybe Mauer saying this is what we want to do. Whatever it was, it worked.
And a strikeout for out number 1, and now Avila.
A good sinker right there. Ball down in his own, and Peralta swinging through it. Take a look at the fastball. Good movement.
Avila 0 for 2 with one of the Tiger walks. Bouncer right side.
There's that double play I was looking for.
Carroll, Florimone, Morneau double play.
There you go.
And again, the Twins survive a leadoff walk. And the bullpen pitches a scoreless 8th inning.
Twins are hanging on to a 3-2 lead over the Tigers as we head into the bottom of the 8th inning here at Target Field. Be sure to stay with us after the game for our Twins Live postgame show presented by CenturyLink. We'll talk about another quality start for a new Twins starting pitcher. We'll also talk about the long balls leading the way for Minnesota today. And, of course, hear from Ron Gardenhire. All that and more in our Twins Live postgame show. Dick and Bert.
Well, thank you, Jamie. The Twins using the long ball twice to score their 3 runs. Remembering now that the 2 Tiger runs scored very early in the game were both unearned runs. And Brian Villarreal will come out of their bullpen to pitch next.
Yeah, the numbers on Villarreal last year, hard-throwing right-hander. He worked in yesterday's ball game. 2/3 of it inning. He did give up a hit. He had a couple strikeouts.
Andy Dirks will stay in the game and take over in left field. And Villarreal will have to face the 3, 4, and 5 batters for the Twins. Willingham, Morneau, and Doman.
Villarreal with a good fastball, hard slider, and a changeup.
Willingham on the day, a walk in the first, the 2-run home run that tied the game in the third, and then he popped up to first in the fifth. And a crackling fastball for strike one. Villarreal playing winter ball, and he was shut down during the wintertime because of some elbow issues, so the Tigers were monitoring him very closely, as you might expect in spring training, but doesn't seem to be any problem, and he's going to be a key guy for them down the stretch, throwing hard with a good slider. That one just off the plate at 95.
Nasty pitch right there. Last year, 66 strikeouts in 54 2/3 innings in 50 appearances.
Just off the plate again at 96. Swing and a miss. I was just thinking, you know, we saw Willingham do this here, taking some fastballs and finding one he liked, and he gave it a big swing. Very reminiscent of his at bat last year against Aroldis Chapman. When remember, he just looked like he was measuring the first couple fastballs, and then he connected instead of missed on the fastball and hit it about a country mile. 2-2 now. And a high fastball gets him. So nothing but heat to Willingham, and he strikes out eventually on 5 pitches.
Old country hardball right there. Well, Mike Pelfrey started for the Twins 5 1/3 innings, gave up 2 runs, but both of them unearned runs. Offensive help, a big 2-run home run off the bat of Josh Willingham in the 3rd inning, tied it at 2 apiece. And then Trevor Plouffe in the 4th, a solo home run. That's a 1-run lead. Twins lead 3-2.
Morneau with a pair of singles on the day.
Ouch.
That got home plate umpire Ed Hidcox right in the toe. Avila offering his apologies.
Well, watch where Avila's Avila's sitting pretty much on the other side. Could be right off that toe. Now, umpires do have that steel little toe plate.
Right.
Still, that's got to hurt.
One 1-0 to Morneau. Consistently in the mid-90s, and it's 1-1 now to Morneau.
Glenn Perkins getting loose for the 9th.
Off-speed pitch, wild, high and away, 2-1. Morneau with 4 hits, 10 at-bats, a double and 3 singles. And 2-2.
Villarreal, just 25 years old, from Venezuela, signed by the Tigers as a free agent back in 2005. Came up a couple years ago. Well, he almost jumps at you when he releases that ball.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. Not only is it 95, 96, but there's some funkiness about his delivery, too.
Well, he throws across his body, and he really has to jump to get that arm out front.
Full count to Morneau.
Let's see where his left foot lands.
Morneau tried to time a mid-90s fastball and sent it over the screen.
Kind of airs it out. Take a look right here. Throws a little bit across his body, but you can see the recoil.
Another 3-2 to Morneau. Breaking pitch rolled foul. Twins looking for an insurance run or two here in the 8th inning. Foul tip, and Avila can't snag it. That's a crisp fastball.
Yes, it is. That's an old country hardball right there.
Again on 3-2. And wasted away another 95.
This will be the 10th pitch in this at bat. After this ball game, of course, the Twins head to Baltimore. Detroit heads home for their home opener against the New York Yankees.
And a breaking pitch, and Morneau fights that one off. Well, regardless of the outcome, this has been a pretty impressive battle. Villarreal with a lot of mid-90s fastballs and occasional breaking ball, and Morneau so far has gotten a piece of everything he's seen with 2 strikes. Took ball 4. Good plate appearance for Morneau. He ends up walking with 1 down. Time now to give you an updated look at the results to our AT&T Twitter poll. We asked you today, how many wins will it take to win the American League Central? And most of you think 91 or more, even though it only took 88 to win it last year.
Right.
Here's Domet. Domet 0 for 3, a ground ball and a couple of outfield flies. Right down the middle at 94.
They're slowing up.
One strike to the Twins designated hitter. Breaking ball, fair ball down the left field line. Morneau rounding second. He'll go to second. They're rounding second, going to third. And Domet pulls into second with a double.
Right, Twins would like to add an insurance run or two for Glenn Perkins, but good piece of hitting by Ryan Domet. Looked like a breaking ball, and he just went with it down that third baseline. Cabrera playing off the line. So Domet picks up his second hit this season, slashing it down that third baseline.
We've seen a lot of those in this series. Wilkin Ramirez, a right-handed batter, hit one late in the game yesterday.
Fielder did that in game 1.
Yeah. Well, the Tigers will bring the infield in here for Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe with a little number that Porcello made a play on in the second. The long home run to make it a 3-2 ball game. And he walked in the 6th. Parmalee, who struggled to make contact, is on deck. Liner to second, 2 away. So they got in on Plouffe's trademark a little bit, it sounded like. Soft line drive for out number 2.
Well, looking for dead red that first pitch. He got it, but just right to Infante, who was playing in.
So Parmalee has had a tough time making contact, looking for his first hit of the year in a big spot in the 8th inning.
Yeah, good time to get it right here.
0 for 9 with 5 strikeouts. Lifted foul, it'll reach the seat, strike 1. Perkins is warmed up, ready to go. The question is, how big will the lead be facing Infante, Jackson, and Hunter? One strike to Parmalee. 1-1. Jim Leyland has seen the Twins score on a Detroit starting pitcher for the first time today. Porcello gave up the 2 home runs, hoping his bullpen can keep this a 1-run game. Specifically, Brian Villarreal. Parmalee with a smash off of Fielder, and Parmalee will get an infield hit and drive in a run. Fielder deflected it, but sprung it into the air, and the Twins lead 4-2.
Parmalee smashed this ball right to Fielder, a 1-hop, and Fielder was hoping, I think, it's kind of just that the ball would find his glove. This ball hit very sharply, a breaking ball right at Prince Fielder, and it kind of ate him up a little bit. So we take a better look right there. Boy, that ball was hit hard. Infante came in, flipped the ball. Nice try by Infante, but Parmalee hustling down that line, able to beat the throw and pick up his first hit this season, and it's a run batted in.
Here's Jamie Carroll. Strike on the outside corner.
That's a big run right there.
And the whole inning opened up really with Morneau's long battle with Villarreal, where he coaxed the walk. One and one. In yesterday's game, the Twins had to score late to tie it up and win the ball game. Well, a big run potentially in the bottom of the 8th inning to double the lead. One and one to Jamie Carroll. And now 1-2. Couple of runners out there on the corners. Delman at third and Parmalee, of course, at first. Now Carroll battles and flips another one foul.
I mentioned earlier, Jamie Carroll, just a professional hitter. He will battle every time up there.
One and two. Breaking ball up and in, 2-2. Villarreal struck out Willingham, and then he had a long battle with Morneau, and the pitch count keeps mounting for him here in the
That's
eighth.
what I was going to mention. 27 pitches already this inning. There's Villarreal on the mound yesterday when Wilkin Ramirez hit that double down the first baseline to tie the game. Excuse me, put the Twins on the board for the first time.
Parmalee goes, pitches inside, and now Parmalee glides into second with a stolen base. Well, Villarreal wasn't paying much attention to him, and the Twins thought, well, why not? Now a hit to the outfield will double the Twins' lead again, perhaps. Full count, first base open, Florimon on deck.
Going to say, I was just going to look that up. That's his first career stolen base, and he did it standing up.
Full count to Carroll, and he walks, and they're loaded up now for Florimon. Jeff Jones is going to go to the mound, and Florimon, who only had 4 at-bats in the first 2 games because of being pitch hit for late, will have his 4th at-bat here today and a chance to bust the game open. There's a little bit of a breather, I suppose.
Just a little breather, yep. Al Albuquerque starting to loosen up.
Florimon with 2 ground balls and a strikeout so far. Florimon with a couple of hits earlier in the series. Would love to get one here, especially given the fact that his error allowed one of the Tiger runs to score very early in the game. Low, ball 1.
Thirty pitches for Villarreal, 18 strikes, a couple walks.
Low, ball 2. Villarreal, as hard as he throws, has had these issues before. You look at this inning, the walk to Morneau, as long of an at-bat as it was, it kind of triggered the whole inning. Now Carroll walks, and now it's 2-0 to the number 9 batter. 5 walks for Villarreal for every 9 innings pitched. There's a strike, 2-1. Florimon recoils in horror.
I took a little off that at 91, just trying to get it over the plate.
Two and 1 to Florimon. Foul back, 2-2.
Good swing right there, just fouled it straight back.
Ron Gardenhire was saying before the game today about Hicks and Florimon. They want them to be aggressive up there and take some full-bodied swings. That's what we just saw from Florimon there. You got a favorable count, 2-1. If the guy's going to throw you a fastball right where you're expecting it, let it fly. Breaking ball dumped behind third. Base hit. 2 runs will score. Florimone drops a double. And the Twins take a 6-2 lead.
On a breaking ball that stayed up, and the inside-out swing landing in the right spot if you're a Twins fan. Right down that left field line. Couldn't be fair more than maybe a foot. The ball kept slicing away, and it's just a matter if it's going to stay fair or foul. And the ball stayed fair right down that left field line. Boy, almost right on the chalk line. Couple more runs scored. Twins kind of open it up with 3 runs here in the bottom of the 8th to take a 6-2 lead.
Now Hicks will try to back up Florimone's hit with one of his own. Down and in ball 1. Three big insurance runs for the Twins in the 8th. And a strike on the outside corner. 36 pitches for Villarreal. Perkins, the Twins closer, now has taken a seat in the bullpen. No longer a save situation.
He got back up, I believe.
There's his first hit.
There it is.
A base hit to right that'll drive in 2.
Bring that ball in.
And an 8-2 Twins lead. Peralta will flip it over to Scotty Elger. And a great way for this homestand to end for Aaron Hicks.
How about that? Prince Fielder handing the ball to Aaron Hicks. He didn't want to give it to Scotty. He wanted to personally hand it to Aaron Hicks and tell him congratulations.
And the fans applauding not just the 5-run inning, but Aaron Hicks finally getting his first big league hit, driving in a couple of runs and forcing the Tigers to go one man deeper into their bullpen. And he finally did it. Aaron Hicks, who by first impressions might be one of the nicest young men the Twins have ever had come through their system.
A fastball right there, and all the at-bats in spring training, all the minor league, little league at-bats. Right there, a big base hit, scored a couple runs. Twins take an 8-2 lead. So congratulations, Aaron Hicks. I like what Fielder did right there. You know, Scotty asked for the ball, and he didn't. Said no. I want to give it to Aaron Hicks personally. Pretty nice gesture.
Albuquerque on the mound, Mauer at the plate.
Albuquerque worked here on Monday. He's had some injury problems over his career. Elbow surgery, shoulder surgery. This guy can throw that baseball too.
Blocked nicely by Avila, but Hicks will take the extra base anyway. Albuquerque just remember a Tom Gordon, kind of a
Flash Gordon,
smallish guy the Royals had, but principally the Royals. He just, what's Gardy's term? He threw the living fire out of the ball. Well, Albuquerque's kind of got the same thing going to him. It's tough to hit. Sometimes it makes it tough to catch, especially when it's in the dirt. 1-1. And now 1-2. Glenn Perkins has taken a seat again in the Twins bullpen. Ryan Presley might be on the verge of his major league debut.
Good time to get him in. Get his feet wet.
6-run lead, 3 outs to get. Starts at the midpoint of the 6, ends up in the midpoint of the 2. Wraps all the way around. Another wild pitch.
Second wild pitch by Albuquerque. Now Hicks over at third base.
Joe Vara, the new third base coach for the Twins. Been a long last few innings for the Tiger dugout. They've not gotten some key hits and some spots late in the game. The Twins have busted the game open with so far 5 runs here in the 8th. We're the 9th man to bat. As has been the custom so far here. Twins falling behind early, but perhaps for the second game in a row, a nice come from behind win. Not as dramatic as yesterday. And Mauer cuts through a breaking pitch. The inning ends, but one of those crooked numbers the Twins hope to repeat many times at home. Aaron Hicks got his first major league hit and eventually got the baseball from potentially a future Hall of Famer. Aaron Hicks looking off into the distance after getting his first major league hit that, oh yeah, by the way, it happened to drive in a couple runs and busted the game wide open.
He can take a deep breath now, too. Yeah. Relax a little bit.
Well, the flight to Baltimore and everything that's going to happen in Baltimore is just going to be easier now because he got the first one out of the way. And speaking of that,
Ryan Pressly trying to get his first major league appearance out of the way. He was a Rule 5 pickup by the Twins out of the Boston Red Sox organization. So making his major league debut, Ryan Pressly, 24 years old.
Twins like what they saw toward the end from Pressly last year in the minor leagues and then in the Arizona Fall League. So this is his major league debut. Infante at the plate, and the first pitch missing low, ball one.
He's a right-hander that comes straight over the top. Features a fastball in the low 90s, curveball, and a changeup.
Darren Mastroianni in left field. Bouncer to third and pass Plouffe toward Mastroianni. So Infante gets a base hit against Pressly. We'll do this occasionally as Pressly gets opportunity on the mound here. The Rule 5 means the Twins have to keep him on the big league club or offer him back to the Red Sox for half the purchase price of $50 grand. There was no hint a year ago. There was no hint in July of last year that Pressly would be picked up by anybody. There might have been some thought that the Red Sox might have let him go because he was really struggling in Class A ball. There's strike one. Primarily as a starting pitcher, he had an ERA of over 6. And then sometimes a promotion can do this. The Red Sox promoted him to Double-A, and that triggered something. He had a really good year at a level higher.
And they put him in the bullpen.
Yes. Yep. And he responded well to that. And you think of Casey Fiend, who pitched earlier in this ballgame. He's never made a minor league start, but he was identified as a relief pitcher very early on, and he's put up some respectable numbers, and the Twins are hoping that will be the case with Pressly. 2 strikes to Austin Jackson. A little bit high, 1 and 2.
I think we talked about that a little bit about when Pressly pitched against the Boston Red Sox. I believe you mentioned Eddie Guardado came up as a starter, and then was one of the best closers in Twins history.
Tap foul. The Twins do it, and I'm sure most teams do, if not all of them. They have a very thick file on all minor leaguers in other organizations. A scout saw somebody once, filed a report. And so even though Twins fans had never heard of Ryan Pressly, there's probably a folder about 1.5 feet thick on Ryan Pressly in the Twins file someplace. Breaking ball down and away. And so when his name was projected as a candidate for the Rule 5 draft after the Arizona Fall League, Terry Ryan said, yeah, we'll take a shot at this guy. We really don't have much to lose, financially or otherwise. And he had a good spring training. 2-2. Popped up, and Florimone just a step or two in the outfield grass, squeezes it 1 away. One down. The results almost certainly won't be the same, but that's kind of the same path the Twins took toward acquiring Johan Santana. From the low levels of the minor leagues, Santana was kept on the team early on because he had to be. Went back to the minor leagues, perfected a changeup, and won a couple of Cy Youngs for the Twins.
Yes, he did.
Strike one. Hunter on the day 0 for 4 has not gotten the ball out of the infield. Tried to bunt his way aboard in the 5th, but Plouffe turned in an awfully nice play to throw him out. Fouled back, 2 strikes. What the Twins like about Pressly, and you've talked about it before, the overhand delivery and the angle.
Yeah, straight over the top. Also very good 12-6 type curveball. A lot of times you look at these young players like Pressly, they go to the minor leagues, they just don't succeed as a starter, mainly because maybe they don't have that secondary or third pitch to make them excel up in an organization. But they have the arm strength to maybe do that right there. Good breaking ball. And he gets his first major league strikeout. So a good fastball that Torrey swung through. And then he comes back with a curveball. Good location. Hard breaking ball down.
Boy, and you could see the shadows between home plate and the mound. And right about the point where the shadow line is where the breaking ball started to break. Here's Cabrera. Pop foul and out of play. Drops a breaking ball over. Presley in his debut, hoping to finish off a Twins win and pitch around a leadoff single. Chopper to short. Florimon charges. Fires low again, and Morneau digs it out. And this Twins team that has not taken a breath above the 500 mark in more than 2 years can breathe easier as they head to Baltimore.
Well, a lot of good things happened today. First Twins home runs, Willingham, Plouffe, and then Parmelee getting his first hit, driving in a run. And then Aaron Hicks and young Ryan Presley making his major league debut.
Twins win the opening home series of the year, and Tom Hanneman, the Twins are going to be on the road for a week, and everything is a lot nicer when you start winning at home.
Plenty of positives, Dick, as the Twins clinch their first series win at home against the Tigers since September 2nd of 2010. Twins Live is coming up next. We'll break it all down as the Twins take the Tigers 2 out of 3.